Okay, you guys. I think I got it figured out. Go lay down, you guys. Alright, so we need a cord. Go on, go. Midnight. Go lay down. I know, puppies. I know. Alright, so let's lift it up. Hope that this helps. And maybe there we go. I think that's going to be better. Okay, and then let's plug in to the outlet. All right, perfect. Okay. All right, so now let's turn on the computer. Oh, I hear you also. I hear you also. Okay, so let's see. Where should we do this? Probably like that. And like that. Puppy cam. All right, let's see here. Bam. Okay. All right. I think that works. We'll see. So let me log in. Get on the tube. And all right. Yep, already started. Dude, why is it my face is the thumbnail? I specifically put the dog, but it still put my face. I hate that. I hate it. Hey, seriously. What? Put it. I would. Put it. She's got bad gas anyway, you might as well. So Alex is here helping out with the live stream, and he has Seneca with him, and Velocity is in normal shape trying to cause problems. So being a bad dog. But I'm sure she'll get over it. Okay. Seneca question mark? Mm-hmm.
Everybody saying hi, Alex.
Hello, everyone.
Good dramatic. Hello.
I'm still processing all these dogs.
Oh, gosh, he is. Moved it. Not he, but she is.
Get my ingredient list together.
Ingredients. Hi, Jonathan. Law. Form.
Go.
Somebody said you're a good-looking man.
Ooh, thank you. Here, let me just fix my hair in the camera real quick. Hello.
Oh, Lord.
What's for dinner?
Alright, butter. This.
They're asking what's for dinner. Oh, somebody donated? What? I didn't see that. Somebody said Savannah donated, or somebody donated. Oops, sorry. Let me look for it.
Yep, you're supposed to be eyeballing Savannah. You're supposed to be
No,
it
happened a long time
here,
ago.
I've got the computer right here for you, dude.
No, I need to go up though. $100 from. Wait, that's not 100. I don't know what that is. I don't know. It says $100. Yeah.
Donald, is it really?
Is it really?
I don't know. Well,
it's got. Thank you, Donald. Alex, is this $100 or is that some like other?
Yeah, that is $100. Wow, that's a really big donation.
Thank you. All right, so I'm getting everything together. I'm doing a pasta dish.
Pasta.
Where's that?
We're here. Pasta.
Where's my tomato?
There's tomato up there.
There's tomato down there.
All right. No, I need tomato. My dried tomato.
Oh,
Okay.
there.
Here. This.
Drop it over here.
Do you want me to start cooking bacon or something?
Huh? I guess you could do that if you wanted to. All right. So Move out of the
Y'all
way.
just buy paper towels?
We didn't have time. Do you have any idea what we had to do to get here?
Dude, we don't have time to not have paper towels.
Savannah, bro. Love you, but figure it out. Dude, Savannah, you are supposed to be in charge of questions. You're either going to do it or you're not.
I was helping out with the
No, you're supposed to be doing questions. You told Alex not to do questions, so you can do questions, and now
Okay.
you're not doing questions.
Okay. Rachel's a good-looking woman. Last comment.
Thank you. All right, not bad for 35. Or am I 36 now? I quit counting.
You quit
I'm done
You're
counting.
about to turn 36.
Yeah, I'm literally done counting. That's it. Anything over 35 doesn't count. So, okay, so.
How do you plan to keep the girls away when the boys win in heat?
Kennels.
Kennels.
All right, so.
Are you cooking for yourself or for the doggies?
We're cooking for ourselves. Let's see, where are the sun-dried tomatoes?
They should be up there.
I don't see them anywhere.
Yeah, I remember singing that and you're just like,
Sun-dried tomatoes.
Somebody said, I thought you were in your 20s.
No, thank
look in
you.
there, look in that stuff right here. Boom.
There's two of them.
Here.
Okay, so.
Or there.
Yeah, everyone got the
With
same
everything else that
hours
we
but
needed
different
already.
minutes.
All right, perfect. Okay, so I'm doing a chicken parmesan with a parmesan cream sauce with sun-dried tomatoes and some shiitake mushrooms
Hey, Reese is here.
and some baby spinach.
By the way.
Hey there, Reese. This is how we do it in Texas.
Somebody said Rachel's cute.
Yeah, thank you. This is how we do it in Texas, y'all.
How's Liberty doing?
Liberty's good. She's, as you can tell over here, in fine form.
Wait, he said, dang, thought you were single and ready to mingle.
Oh, I am still single, but
Not really ready to mingle.
All right, so
Savannah, what's for dessert? Cookies. Not normal cookies.
hey, you guys get out now, right now. Out. Really,
The
you
whole
guys?
herd.
Gosh,
Go.
guys.
It's like fending off a herd of cattle.
Ah, don't you come around here.
Get out. I don't think you should now. Let's go. Move
Okay,
now.
so
Must
I
go.
actually
Okay.
need to be on that.
Okay, I can switch.
And I don't need this grease. Savannah.
Here, just set it right here for now, and then we'll take care of it.
But I need the pan though for the sauce.
Okay, here, let's get a pot to put the grease in. That's still good.
Somebody said, does the dog hair get everywhere?
Not everywhere, but
Pictures.
it gets a lot of places.
Hey,
Ow! What did I tell you guys? Ow! Quit hitting my thing. Go away. Go lay down now. Don't you dare come back in here midnight. Go lay down. Now.
rude.
Midnight. What did I tell you? No. She thinks she can just keep
Can I
coming
delete
around.
that? Is that no? Alex,
Midnight.
Alex.
Hold on one second.
She literally thinks that she can just that she can beat me.
Alex.
Bad
I
dog.
thought someone typed something bad, probably.
Just delete it and block them. You block
Because
and delete.
they were like, no more close-up selfies. You want people to watch your videos, right? And I was like, rude. Absolutely
Dude, who
rude.
says that?
It's not my fault that it does that. That when it
No.
takes a
That's a
screenshot
computer
thing,
program.
that it. I swear to God, Midnight, if you come in here one more time, you are out. Go lay down now. Don't give me that face. Go.
Now.
Now. Go.
Now. No. Don't come around my side.
Now put her down. Hey, Midnight.
So
Yes,
how old
now.
are you? I'm 13.
Lay down. All
I'll
the
be
way
14 in May.
down. All the way down. All the way down. Quit it.
Savannah, what kind of science experiments are going on in there?
Nothing. I was using charcoal.
Oh.
Savannah, read the. I am. Okay.
All right. Look at you, little Miss Attitude, Savannah.
Dude,
no,
somebody
ma'am.
was like telling me to read the
You are
comments.
supposed to be reading
I
them.
am. There just wasn't any
No.
question.
Get out now.
When did you get into Connie Corsos?
A couple, probably
Go. Out.
I guess it's been about 4 years ago now.
Here, no. Oh, well, here, I was gonna No.
Preacher, Cashmere, Velocity. Okay. How long do you think you'll be breeding? Until the tomb? Question mark.
What do you want me to do now?
Just dump it. I'm going to dump it outside, I guess. But yeah, only white papers in the
I
trash.
just don't want to use toilet papers.
It's good.
Especially on camera. That's pretty damn
No, it's just
rednecky.
the white papers.
Just saying, it's pretty bad.
I ruined it.
Yeah.
What
you
dog?
ruined it! You ruined it all!
What dogs do you have experience with, Rachel?
What's up?
They said, how many dogs do you have experience with?
Breeds?
Yeah.
A lot.
All of them.
So I've worked with, we turn AC on.
Feature no.
Okay, so I have worked with, well, I've owned Golden Retriever, Pitbulls, Rottweilers, German Shepherds. Out! Now!
Go,
Out!
go.
Out! Out!
Go.
French Bulldog,
Preacher.
Black and Tan Coonhound,
Great Dane.
Anatolian Shepherd, Great Dane,
A lot.
what else?
Oh, the wiener dog, the longer.
Wiener, Dachshunds.
French Bulldog.
I just said the French Bulldog.
Old
the
English.
Connie Corso, Old English Bulldog, French Mastiff, American Bulldog,
So
Bull
a terrier.
Terrier.
Yeah, I was gonna say you have a terrier.
Yeah, Bull Terrier.
Back when I was really little.
Yeah. So yeah,
Is it safe to give your dog carrots?
I believe so. Yeah.
Oh yeah, all
Yeah.
the time.
Yeah.
Okay. So I need to move this.
Do you ever call one of your dogs? Oh, somebody was asking if you ever called it the dog Savannah by accident. Occasionally, maybe no. At what? Gosh, these questions are going. At what age do male Connie Corsos fully mature?
Usually around 3 years of age.
Okay. Have you worked with staff?
Can you move this for me, please?
What?
That pot. I need to be here working. Have
Uh,
I worked with what?
dude, this person.
Oh, this is you're not using this.
Can we? Hold on. Let me. I need to delete this person. Thank you. Hold on. Kayla James. And let me see.
Savannah, you may need to
Right there, Tiana.
you may need to ask someone to help you moderate.
Okay.
Here, watch out.
Okay, we gotta put the dot.
Okay.
Guys, you have to like block them on there. Okay. Hold on, I'll read comments on your phone right now since he's
No, preacher.
deleting somebody. It's what's a good age to breed your female pit bull?
At her second heat and after she has passed her health tests.
Just hide them.
Okay.
You don't even need to ban them.
But will they be able to comment more?
It'll get hidden. They can comment as much as you like.
Do you regret getting velocity?
What they ask?
Do you regret getting velocity?
No, but I mean, you know, would I prefer that she not act that way? Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
The only reason that I haven't rehomed her is because of the fact that her temperament is not fearful. So she's not at risk of hurting anyone. And if she didn't live in a pack environment, you really wouldn't see
Somebody said I can help you guys
too
moderate.
much of that behavior.
Hey, somebody texted you on Facebook saying they could help moderate.
Okay.
Never mind. I don't know if I
You
was.
should be able to make them.
I don't know who they. I don't know if I can find them though. But whatever.
Alex, the bacon.
Okay.
I've got the comments.
Oh, and as far as Seneca's name, I was going to change it, but I ended up keeping her name as Seneca.
Thank you,
As time went on.
Donovan. Donovan, right? Yeah. Let's say that's it. Donovan. Let me see. Christy. Yes, we love velocity. How do I keep my brother's staffies from jumping and licking me and my kids at every visit and every chance they get?
Savannah, what? I asked you to clean up and you didn't. There's no clean dishes. That really doesn't count as cleaning up.
Yeah, you can't even eat without anything.
Alice, can you moderate? And then we'll just not do the bacon right now, and then she can do the dishes like she's supposed to do.
Your paper plates?
Yeah, no, I don't. I phone.
Okay. Savannah is doing dishes now, so I'll be taking over the comments and the questions. There's not going to be any pictures of Seneca for a little while. I'm not Rachel's boyfriend, I'm just her friend. And the next breeding is in February, so it's going to be coming up soon. We're not going to be breeding Seneca for a while. Tennessee is no longer with us. We've rehomed her.
No, we sent her back to
Or the breeder actually has her, I believe. Seneca here. Seneca acts a lot better with me. She really does a lot better in a home with just one dog. Maybe like one other dog like Velocity or something like that, but when it gets with really dominant dogs, she doesn't do very well with because she's really submissive.
Yeah. A pack environment really does kind of bring out any weakness in a dog's temperament.
I'll tell you, I won't tell you who's my favorite dog, but I'll tell you Preacher is not my favorite dog. Preacher is, yeah, I don't even know how to describe our relationship.
Oh.
But I've lived with Preacher his whole life and everything, but he views me a lot differently than Rachel.
Yeah, Corso genuinely are like one-person dogs for the most part. They love the whole family, but they really love their one person very much.
Just like Blondie's mine.
Yeah.
And Midnight's like hers. Midnight get out of the kitchen. She's in the kitchen.
Oh, you're a bad dog. Yeah.
And there's people asking about what it takes to own a Connie Corso. Can you do it if it's your first time owning a dog? What kind of research do you need to do?
If it's your first time trying to own a Connie Corso, you can do two things. One, adopt one that is in need of a home. There are a lot of Connie Corsos that are already trained and they just need a home. And that's a good place to start. If you can't find that, then the second option is going to be to talk to a breeder, let them know that you are a novice, and have them give you advice. I have sold dogs to people that have not had the breed before. However, you have to come from a standpoint of willing to learn and willing to listen and willing to take a different dog than you may think you want. And that's a big part of it, is if I think that you can't handle that dog, I'm going to tell you that. And I need you to accept it and take the dog that I think you can handle. Because the worst thing is for you to get the dog you think you want and then end up with a dog that you can't handle because your personalities don't mesh well.
So a couple of people have asked this. A bunch of people want to know what's the ranking of your pack as far as alpha to omega and where everyone stands. And then people are also asking, do you feed them accordingly to that ranking?
No, I do not feed them according to that ranking. We pretty much, we take the chicken and each dog gets a piece until it's out, or each dog gets their meat until it's out, and that's just kind of the way it is.
We don't want to feed them in dog bowl.
Yeah, they're not.
Just gonna toss it.
Yeah, we're just gonna toss it to them.
I'm not recommended though.
Yeah, I'm not recommending that. I'm just telling you what we do. As far as the question of the ranking, so Preacher's probably top, Cashmere's definitely second. Beneath that, I would say Midnight, but very close second is Blondie, because she'll back down to Midnight, but only just so.
Yeah.
And then beneath her comes Velocity, and then Oso and our girl Liberty here for now.
Yeah,
When they get older, they'll move up. But and it's not even about, like, people think that it's about like the action.
Thanks for the donation,
It's
Steve
really
Lee.
not. The
Good question too.
where they are in the pack has more to do with who they are as a dog. The same way that it would be for you as a person. Like if you were stuck in a building full of 20 people, you would eventually establish a hierarchy. And how would you do it? Well, you would do it based on who you are, your personality. And so that's how the dogs do it too.
And to answer just a few quick questions, Rachel doesn't breed frozen.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so you may have to go on the thing and...
It says live and everything.
Comment still flowing in.
Okay, here we go. We're back. Okay. Okay, so again, the donation question was, what is your least favorite breed? And that's a really good question. Audra, you're right. A dominant dog would be better with a dominant person for sure. Submissive dog for a submissive person. Oh, we just got a $20 donation.
My least favorite breed.
Thank you, Jen.
I hate to say this, but for me, it was an Anatolian Shepherd.
Yeah.
They're bred to like be out in the middle of nowhere and do their own thing. So training them is like, it's so hard. The concept of training is not even a concept for them really. They're not bred, or even, they just don't think about training. And they take off. You cannot take them off leash. They just take off and they don't listen. They're just gone. And they're lost all the time because they take off. And they just don't listen. So they're pretty to look at. But other than that, I mean, I like to work with a dog, and I like a dog that likes to be a part of a pack, and they really don't. They're different.
I don't like.
She's going to be breeding Cashmere in February, and then the next dog to be bred will be Velocity. And your next question is, it's a two-part question, or two different questions in one. What do you think about Tibetan Mastiffs? And then also, why do dogs turn on their owners?
Okay.
Yes, Velocity is still Omega.
Tibetan Mastiffs are a real breed. I personally don't have any experience with them. However, there are a designer version that is a chow mix that you do have to watch out for. Hey, you guys! Quiet.
Randy, to answer your question too, like we said earlier, we only breed dogs based on their health tests and their structure once they're fully developed.
Right, so the other question was turning on their owners. Usually, that comes from a person that has been a weak owner. They've been letting the dog get away with stuff, and they back down to the dog, and they do what the dog wants, and they give it what it wants, and then one day they decide that they're going to be tough that day, and they're going to actually tell that dog what to do. Maybe they even lose their temper a little bit. Maybe they push it a little too far, and the dog's like, no, you're not the alpha, and corrects them, So, in my experience, that's what I've seen. It is not often. Hey, you guys. Wait a minute. What'd I say? You guys, quit. It is not very often that I ever see or hear about an abused dog attacking its owner. Oftentimes those dogs are just very fearful. It is just not, they're just terrified. They just shut down, they lay down, it is oftentimes the people that don't set any boundaries, they don't have any rules, and then, and then out of nowhere, they want to try to be a disciplinarian. It doesn't work like that in the dog world. Hey, quit. You can't just decide that you want to be the alpha one day with a dog without earning it. So, can you pick her out?
Yeah.
Go
Or you want me to just leave her out here?
Yeah. She might walk over something. That's like crazy.
Oh.
Here, I don't know which one of them is doing it, but whoa.
It's Oso. Okay, we got another donation. Thank you, Sleepy Mercy.
All right.
And people want to know, what did Preacher do when you first picked him up?
He when I first went to get him, he do I have a towel at least? We're so unprepared, y'all.
Here.
Sorry.
Do you have any hand towels in the bathroom?
Just my life right now.
My life.
No.
Hello. Lily, this doesn't give y'all an excuse to get in the kitchen. Get out.
Yeah, you guys get out. Go.
Hello.
Deer meat is very healthy for dogs.
What?
Any kind of lean protein. Now, people want to know what should you look for when you're picking a puppy. That's a good question. That's I don't think a lot of people will tell you the honest answer because they don't want you to have the best puppy.
So you need to see good structure. You want to see a puppy that doesn't go looking for a fight, but doesn't back down from one either. And a puppy that isn't fearful or wary. It doesn't avoid you. Things like that.
Liberty comes from Valencia, Connie Corso as well.
Yes. And Valencia Connie Corso is a really, 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 really great kennel.
Yes, they are, Jen.
They're not new to breeding.
Preacher was the first.
Yeah, they were breeding. So I know you guys probably can't hear me, but it's Reese and her husband, and she was breeding, I believe, huskies and showing huskies before she even got into Connie Corso. So she's already very familiar with breeding and structure, and so she and I talk like on the daily. If there was anyone that I thought had more knowledge than even I do on structure, it would be Reese. She's the reason that Preacher even went into show and got champion. So, you know, yeah, we're just very happy to even have one of their dogs and to even be friends. And so I highly, highly recommend them.
It's a very nice lady.
I'm eating all the bacon.
Okay, and so...
Poor little baby.
Oh, Caucasian, yes, okay, thank you, Shih Tzu. Yeah, if you guys have questions, just keep throwing them in there and I'll try to get to them eventually. The Caucasian Shepherds. People want to know about Caucasian Shepherds. What do you think about them?
I think they're
And
beautiful.
especially training them.
Yeah, I think they're beautiful. They look like a very serious dog. Savannah, will you let Preacher out? He needs to go out. They are so intense. Like when I read their face, they look so intense that I'm not even sure that I can handle one yet. And I don't live where the weather is nice enough for one, but as a whole, I think they're beautiful. The problem is that I tend to be wary of any breed that isn't normally kept in a home. It's not to say that they can't be, but oftentimes they're just, you know, like the Connie Corso, they can be a little rougher on the edges and harder to get to be as obedient as, say, something else that's been bred domestically here and shown for a long time.
I just had one, I forgot what it was. Have you ever heard of Leave It Bulldogs? Levitt Bulldogs.
Yeah.
And what is your opinion on them?
Yeah, they're supposed to be a healthier version of the Bulldog, the original Bulldog.
Casimir always tries to dominate Preacher.
But unfortunately, from what I've seen, a lot of them have like reverted back. It is unfortunate that in every breed, always going to be people that are attracted to the extreme, you know. extreme head, extremely short muzzle, extremely wide eyes, like all these things that ultimately made the English Bulldog into what it was. They're already doing it to that one. They're already doing it to the Old English Bulldog. It's just so hard. So if you can find somebody that's breeding them good, then then it's a better choice than an English Bulldog.
Okay, thank you for the update. The donation. Oh wow, updated. Seneca and Oso, will they breed? That's kind of something that we haven't thought of, but like I said earlier, we have to wait till the dogs are fully grown before questions like that get answered. Yes, there will be more of Seneca, but she has a lot of training to do, and she's kind of on a strict regimen right now. But don't think she's going to disappear anytime. Okay, so what happens when Cashmere tries to dominate Preacher and get on top of him?
He lets her, usually, unless he's not in the mood. And
especially when she's in heat. Oh my God, anything goes when Cashmere's in heat.
Yeah,
Preacher will let her do anything.
Yeah.
Hey,
Well,
get out of the kitchen.
he knows, he knows that, get out, go. He knows, that she's hormonal. She can't do anything about it. Somebody asked about the Old English Bulldog I was going to get. The breeder backed out again. Except at least this time she did refund my money. So
There will be no.
there's not going to be an Old English Bulldog. Hey, get on my trash.
You just got a donation from Emily.
Thank you, Emily.
And she asked, would you have trained female Pitbull and a Connie Corso?
Yes, I've definitely trained them.
But breeding, as far as breeding them together, we would not do
breeding
that.
them? No.
Yeah, but training, yes.
Yeah.
Breeding nose.
Yeah, Richard, hey, quiet. You guys, go lay down. Now,
I would
Blondie.
say any large breed is going to mature around 2 years old.
2 to 3 years old.
Yes, and we are. As far as our political status, we're just proud Americans. We don't really support any kind of
Alex,
party or anything like that.
Bro, don't even go there.
Yeah, I'm just saying we don't really get into politics too much.
Richard, if you don't be quiet.
And so someone's asking about how potty training. Having them just have them in the same house. My pit is trained by one kind of course. Yeah, that's totally fine, but you just want to make sure that you start very young always. It's really important if you guys ever want your dogs to do anything, starting young and committing, long term and taking it real serious is the best solution for every problem in your dog.
Stop it.
Ortiz, that is about right for the. He's a little bit small, but that's about average size. Most Connie Corsos are a lot smaller than the dogs Rachel has.
No, they're not.
A lot smaller. I mean, like.
Let me answer the questions.
My bad. Do Connie Corsos need protection training, and where do you keep your dogs at night?
No, they should not need protection training if they're bred right. And I keep my dogs kenneled at night so that they don't poop all over my floor. The thing is that even if you have a potty trained dog, there's going to be a time when they're going to get sick from their food or whatever it is. And I find it's just better to just put them up at night and don't worry about it.
And she does ship dogs to Canada.
I do keep out a dog, so it's not like they're all put up like they can't do their job, but I just don't leave them all out. Cashmere, get out now. Go out.
What breed is the best for temperament?
There is no best for temperament. It's about what you like. It's about what your life is.
Every dog is so different.
Yeah, it's literally, you're going to have to find the best dog for you.
Presa Canario, what are your thoughts on that breed? And cows.
I would say that a Presa is kind of like a mix. They're not a mix, but they're in temperament. It's like a mix between like a Pitbull, like a band dog, and a Connie Corso. So they're protective, but they're also very hot. So they can even be prone to like you know, dog aggression, things like that. Like they're a very hot-tempered dog, and as far as I know, and keep this in mind, I don't have one, so my experience is going to be very limited to the dogs that I've actually seen, owners that I've actually had, and the conversations that I've had, and you know, when I was researching them, I didn't end up wanting one. And they're also prone to a lot more health problems as far as like elbows, like things like that. You really have to watch for.
Okay, and then also the Boerboel and the American Bully breed, and then people want to know how long you've been a breeder for.
So I forget how to pronounce it. I'm going to pronounce it wrong, but the Boerboel is a South African Mastiff. They're a protection breed. I was actually looking into them before I got the Connie Corso. They're an excellent breed, a lot like the Connie Corso, honestly. I mean, just a really great breed. I would stay away from anyone who's breeding black ones or blue ones, because those, as far as I'm concerned, are not going to be real. They're going to be mixed. But anyway, and then the band dogs.
American Bully breeds.
American Bully breed is a band dog. It's just a mix of a bunch of different dogs. You know, English Mastiff, or not English Mastiff, but English Bulldog. Some of them even have like French Bulldogs. Some of them have like Boston Terrier in them. You know, we're talking like the what are they called? The extreme or the exotics. And then other ones have, you know, more Mastiff type breeds in them. When you get into like the extra large bullies, we're talking Mastiff mixes. But none of them are Pitbulls. It's just, you know, a big broad name for a bunch of different kinds of tough looking Mastiff or Pitbull mixes.
And how long have you been breeding for, and what are your plans as far as, are you going to put kennels outside or anything?
I am going to be putting kennels outside. I will not keep my dogs in them all the time.
Well, in a house, in a building, they won't be outside. They'll be in an external building, like a barn or you know, some kind of structure.
Yeah. So anyway, so I will have that, and I've been breeding. I took a break. I took a hiatus for a while, but I've been breeding since.
I was a baby.
Yeah, since she was a baby. I got pictures of her like, like a very long time.
All right, another good question, and this is I think a lot of people talk about this, Dog Dynasty, and they were saying that people call him a backyard breeder, and what are your thoughts on what he does?
I mean, I've spoken about it before. I'm really not a fan of him or his program. I just think he breeds dogs for money, basically. That's just my personal opinion.
Not for the.
So I'm gonna move this again.
What do you call it?
I don't want to be like talking to my chin.
He doesn't care about the results.
What are your feelings on the Kennel Club, and do you ever? Jesus, going so fast. Do you ever and the ever-changing breed standards that it leads to?
You know, I personally, I don't understand why you can change a standard in the first place. If a standard is meant to be a blueprint for an animal, and it's meant to be abided by to maintain that breed, then why would you change it? I don't understand that. So no, I don't like changes.
As long as they're still working like they should, like they're still, like say creature or something, they can move properly, and their body is of a natural dog, not a structured dog, but an abstract art piece.
And what do you do? Emily was asking, her neighbors have an untrained Connie Corso mix, and they constantly get out and cause problems.
Wow. I mean, unfortunately, people like that, like.
No, Richie, she will not be rehoming any dog.
There's really not anything you can do about that. Like, I I mean, you can call the cops on them, but they're just gonna probably shoot the dog. If it was me, if I thought I could talk to the people, I would try. But some people can't be talked to. If it was somebody like that, I would capture the dog when it was out, and I would rehome it without them knowing.
Don't do what she does, everybody.
That's what I would do.
People are asking if you're still going to do rabbits for food.
I would
That is
love
an
to,
old
yeah.
question.
I would love to.
How long ago was that?
Yeah, but the issue is that with me being here alone like I am, it's a lot of work. It's very hard. So
It takes daily cleanings and all that, and it's a.
Hope Connie Corsos can definitely handle cats. Rachel has a lot of cats.
We don't have a lot of cats.
I had a lot of cats. I don't anymore.
We're going to have cats soon. Don't worry. We're not.
She
cat
still
lovers.
has a lot of cats. She's a cat person that goes around saying she doesn't have a lot of cats, and she does.
Dude, she doesn't.
I'm a cat lady with no cats.
Yeah. Quote unquote.
She's
Hey, write down. Hey, Blondie.
Get out of the kitchen.
She's over here. Blondie is
Just
literally
Preacher
trying to
and Midnight usually sleep with her. All the other dogs are kenneled or they stay with Savannah.
Cashmere sleeps with me, and I don't have dogs sleeping in my room with me. Cashmere. Sometimes I'll sleep with Velocity because she's good with
Yes,
protection.
Karen Cashmere will be bred in February when she goes into the heat next. What happens when a pack member leaves a pack for a while? Will the pack be affected?
Yes.
Yes.
When that dog comes back in, as you guys heard when Seneca came in, they want to kind of like mob them. You'll see it in wolf packs too. And, you know, I had to kind of step in and get in the middle of it and really prevent them. But especially a low pack member like that, you know, they're really going to get talking to. That is so cute.
Yeah.
Blondie is playing with Liberty.
Blondie loves Liberty.
Yeah, they played. They're inseparable. Go.
What was that question someone keeps asking? Cashmere's a little over 2 years old, 2.5 years old, I believe. What are the structural faults and strengths of Blondie?
So she is a bit square, and she's a little overangulated.
Her legs are too long in the back.
Her muzzle is too long and tapered, and
I was saying her back legs are too long.
I already said that.
Oh.
Other than that,
She's pretty good.
that's about it. I mean, other than that, she's pretty good.
Her eyes kind of come in a bit.
Her eyes are a little loose, but not. I wouldn't say bad enough for it to be an issue.
And then another person has asked a couple of times, so like you go over to someone's house and their dogs jump all over you and lick you like crazy. How do you handle other people's dogs without, offending them, but at the same time getting them off you?
You're not going to be able to. You will like what it takes to get a dog to stop jumping on you is going to offend a person that doesn't that would get offended at you doing something like that, if that makes sense. Midnight needs to go out, Savannah.
Thanks for the donation, Fishy Baby 92. And do you know of Doghouse Connie Corso? Someone was asking, or Fishy Baby 92.
Midnight.
What?
Doghouse Connie Corso.
Never heard of him.
I think that's what they called showing me yesterday on YouTube.
That's rough house.
What kind of health testing should you look from a breeder?
You want the minimum is preferably pen hip. I would not do OFA. You can do OFA, but all OFA is, you guys, go. The only thing that OFA is the vet takes an x-ray of the hips, and then, or multiple x-rays of the hips. They send it to 3 other vets for their opinion. So you get your vet's opinion and 3 other vets' opinion. And it's just opinion. A pen hip score takes, x-rays of the hips, and then they do the hips relaxed, and then they do them when they're kind of stressed. They put this thing in them and kind of stress the hip out, and they scientifically measure the amount of actual looseness in the joint. It's called joint laxity. And that doesn't change as the dogs age. OFA scores do. So, in my opinion, pen hip is the better system.
Okay, so a bunch of people are asking how many more times you're going to breed cashmere, and everyone wants to know if they can adopt cashmere whenever you're done. Like, basically, when you finish breeding a female, are you going to give people the opportunity to adopt them?
So when a female is done breeding, and usually I will breed a female, anywhere between like 3 years old and 4 years old. So she will probably be bred for this year, 2019, and possibly into 2020. What I'm looking for is her replacement, basically, right? The idea is to get the best puppy that she can produce, the best female, and then retire her and work with that dog. The idea is not to get as many puppies out of her as possible. However, they obviously have to be grown enough for me to know that they're actual replacements. So I've got Midnight. Hopefully she'll be the replacement, but I don't know yet. There's no guarantee. She's not been health tested. She hasn't been bred, so there's no way to know if she'll produce good puppies like Cashmere. So those are all things that we keep in mind. But if the dog would be equally happy outside of my home, then yes, I will rehome the dogs. If they won't, like Midnight would love to be with me, she would never want to be anywhere else. I would keep her. That's the deal.
Thank you for the donations, Monica, and thank you for the other donation, Fishy Baby 92, and her question was about Roughhouse Connie Corso. She wants to know what your opinion is on that.
That's what people on YouTube.
I don't like the guy. He knows that. I've said that to him personally. I don't like his breeding practices. I don't like his dogs. I don't think that he's breeding. I don't even think he health tests, to be honest with you. And I've seen him breed it. I told him that a dog that he was going to breed had a fault, and he didn't even care. So he's just one of those people that, in my opinion, is just a guy making money. But that's just my opinion.
And thank you, Richard, as well, for the donation. Do you think an African Morkel will get along with the Connie Corso?
Yes, they're very alike. Very alike. Very similar personalities. They definitely do well together.
Just take your time finding a Morkel breeder for sure, because their temperaments are a lot more intense than a Connie Corso.
I wouldn't say they're more intense at all, but you do want to make sure that you get that you really get a good breeder. And that doesn't, for any large breed protection dog, you really need to make sure that you do your research and get a good breeder. Do not buy a dog off price. You will regret it.
Okay, who's going to be your next stud after Preacher? And what was, before we answer that, what was your first dog breed? Thanks for continuing to post that German Shepherd lover.
Oh, thank you. My first dog breed was a golden retriever. His name was Malachi. He was my aunt's dog, but he was really my dog. And I loved him very much. I still have a very big place in my heart for golden retrievers. When I get old and I can't train dogs anymore, I'll probably get one.
What's the best like?
Which small dogs do you think is the best small dog for protection? That's an awesome question.
A bull terrier, possibly, if you get it from the right people. Or for protection, like,
You can kick a small dog.
I mean, you can't, honestly, there is no small dog for protection. I mean, somebody could kick it, right? But if you want a dog that won't give up, you could do what are those things called? It's not a Jack Russell. It's like the Pitbull of the terriers, of the little terriers. I can't remember what it's called right now.
Staffordshire?
It's not a Staffordshire. Those are like human friendly.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name of it right now, but it reminds me of a Jack Russell, but they're usually like black.
A Patterdale Terrier?
Patterdale Terrier.
Wow, good guess. Good guess, everyone who did that.
Yes, yes. If I was gonna do a small terrier, I'd probably put my life in the hands of a Patterdale.
Okay, tips to spot a backyard breeder.
No health testing, no show titles. When they can't spell, when they say U, the letter U instead of YOU, or
LOL.
they don't capitalize their eyes. I know it sounds like that's like, actually it doesn't. I am older, and I'm sorry, but back in the day, people used to have good grammar. I don't know what's wrong with people these days.
It's the kids typing on the computers.
So
Preacher is never leaving Rachel's side.
never.
Oh, never. I mean, what you show, but that's
Thank you for the donation, Shay. We
dogs that are just big and they don't actually have any like a reason for breeding other than creating beasts, big dogs.
And so Shay wasn't here when you talked about Roughhouse, and a bunch of people are asking as well. So if you could just kind of reiterate what you think about Roughhouse Connie Corso.
I think he's in it for the money. I don't think he has good dogs. I've spoken to him personally about the fact that I don't like his dogs. Before I even knew he had a YouTube channel, before mine was even popular, he and I had words on Facebook, and I think that he has no ethics, and I think he'll do anything for money and attention, and I think that he is breeding basic dogs. And that's just my opinion.
That's the tea.
Do you think that you'll breed Connie Corsos for the rest of your career, or you'll...
Well, I mean, that depends. So I would like to, but if it gets to the point where they are being bred the way that like pit bulls and bullies are, I'd probably step out of it. I would probably maintain my own lines, like maybe do a breeding a year, or even like, something like that, just to keep my own line going, but other than that, probably not.
That's a great question. What do you think about a pack of Chihuahuas for protection? Very
That
good
would
question.
probably be very
Yeah, I
effective.
would also not go into a yard with a pack full of protection Chihuahuas.
I would run away.
Yeah,
Yeah, they'll climb on you and rip your eyeballs out.
yeah.
That's a bit descriptive.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying.
Chihuahua
That's what
time.
happens when you get into a pack of Chihuahuas.
Yeah, man, there was one of our neighbors had a Chihuahua outside all the time, and I was walking one time, and his dog went full force chasing me, and I went, no! He's like, oh, looks scary, and he was like...
And then people, someone asked about owning a Dachshund and or Dachshund, and what you think if do you think that they can own a Connie Corso and a Dachshund?
Yeah. So the only reason that I don't have a dachshund is because whenever I had a dachshund and I had multiple big dogs, the dachshund would go and run and try to be like just like aggressive as them to go fight stuff, and it would get run over. And so then he would get hurt, and so I just couldn't keep them because they'd get underneath the feet of the dogs because they don't have any fear. So I really like them. I actually used to not like them at all for a long time. I just met so many nasty ones, but I've met enough good ones to know that it's the people who own them, not the breed.
Yes.
So isn't that always the case?
Thank you for the donation, Karen. That is a great idea.
Thank you, Karen.
She's gonna look into getting stuffed preachers, like a preacher plush toy
Oh my God!
as
I would
merchandise.
want that.
Yeah, I
I
think
would want
everyone
that.
would own one of those.
I would want that.
Yeah, that's a great idea. And then she also asked, are you going to breed Preacher to his daughters ever? And a couple
No.
other people asked that as well.
No.
And yes, Yorkies can definitely be aggressive. Any dog has the potential to be aggressive.
That would be inbreeding. Not really. Sounds like we would have to.
Okay, a couple of people are asking about Napoleon, his structural faults, and
So he had a,
Oh, him.
what are you doing in here? Go, now. Go. He had a deformity in his front legs and his carpals, that, was making his feet kind of go out like this. I don't think that it was bad enough that it would have caused him to break down, but it's not something that you want to breed into your dogs.
Go away. Oh,
okay.
when do we take our sushi?
If you weren't breeding Connie Corsos, what would you be breeding?
Let's just say this: if I had a lot of land and I could do whatever I wanted, I would have a Lance.
Yeah.
which is something you just don't see. Nobody's breeding a Lance, but that's because Americans are like infatuated with really big, wide dogs, and they're not really into athletic dogs. So not only
Yes, Jessica, people have definitely recognized us in public from YouTube.
Yeah.
The other question was,
and I'm sorry for anyone who has met me in person because I know that it's really pitiful. I'm very shy and antisocial and awkward, and I apologize for anyone that's, had to meet me in person.
Are you Rachel from Sons of Tempo, Connie Corso?
someone asked, do you remember how much it was when you shipped that puppy to Canada? How much it cost for shipping?
I think it was I think it cost him like $5.50.
But he also had a carrier person or whatever.
Yeah, it would have been a lot cheaper if he would have flown down and flown back. But he hired. Yeah, people like try to.
Or messaging?
Yeah, people try to message me on when I'm.
I
can't get rid of it either.
Like it's throwing a basketball.
All right.
Here we go. We're back, guys. Okay. All right. Sorry about that. And so we're gonna just. Yeah,
Crunch
middle of nowhere.
Crunch.
So that last question was about Preacher's God status.
Right. So we're going to be showing him. We're going to be showing him soon. I think in February. He's a champion, but we do want to grand champion him. So anyway, so he won't lose it, but he can definitely build on it. Go quiet down.
I like this chapter.
Yes, it would be okay for a dogo, any dog to live with any dog as long as you start them very young and you really commit to it. How did you find a good handler?
I got a recommendation from Reese because she knew that handler personally. Her name is Vicki Benson, Benson, or I think or Zon. I'm not sure.
Thank you for the donation again, Steesley. His question was the Spanish Mastiff or the your thoughts on the Canis Panther or the Spanish Mastiff?
The Canis Panther is a mixed breed. It's basically a designer breed, and a recent one at that. I believe it's like a Doberman cross. I don't know. Personally, I mean, I don't think I wouldn't get one. So, Spanish Mastiff, that's the Presa, and I out of the big dogs, I got the Connie Corsos. I really wasn't into the Presa. They're a shorter, wider dog. What I didn't like was a lot of the people that were in the breed seemed to be like a lot of the same kind of people that are in the bully community. So I just decided to. I feel like no breeding community has like everybody perfect and awesome, but I felt like some communities are better than others, and I wasn't really very impressed with the Presa community.
Another really good question was, what are your thoughts on it, or what are your thoughts on established dominance is the question. Where dogs know each other and they've been fighting and that whole competitiveness of it all.
Well, I don't know what you mean by
established
that.
dominance.
Should you let them establish
No, how do you
dominance?
break established dominance? Two dogs that hate each other.
Oh. So, basically, you don't, whoever it is that's trying to instigate, you just don't let them. If they can't work it out, then they just have to accept the fact that they're on even ground, and you don't let them play, you don't let them fight, or like getting each other's spots or things like that. The reason I say don't let them play is because play is where they start to sort those things out. And if they can't sort it out, it's going to escalate to a fight. So just don't even let them do it. Especially if they've already fought. Make them respect each other's space and, leave it at that. And don't leave them alone together unattended.
Just a couple of new people were asking what you're cooking tonight.
We are cooking a sun-dried tomato chicken parmesan pasta with shiitake mushrooms and spinach and a gluten-free. We're weak and we can't handle wheat.
Did you okay, so Caucasian Overchaka and
Yep.
Boxers.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on those?
We talked about the Overchakas already. They are a very independent, very strong breed. I personally haven't had one. I like them a lot. I think they're very beautiful, but they're huge dogs. I mean, huge dogs. So you really have to have control. I would not get one unless you're like me. Like you're no nonsense. You can handle them. And even I haven't even taken one because I'm not sure yet. If I thought I could just have them and handle them, I would probably even like to have some. But I just don't know, man. That's a big dog. I don't want to buy one until I've actually gotten to be around some enough to feel like any issues I've seen is not temperament or breed based, it's owner error. And then Boxers, very playful, very energetic dogs. They can be aggressive, make no mistake. They can be dominant. They can, so you really have to be good with training, especially because of the energy level that they have. They stay in a prolonged puppy period, and you have to be prepared for that. What?
Tony was asking, is it okay if dogs lick your hands and then you like touch food? Is that safe?
Yeah, it's safe. I guarantee you that you don't wash your hands every time a dog licks your hand.
Seneca will never be back in this pack. She's permanently rehomed.
Yeah.
She's not. She was never ideal for a pack mentality or anything. One dog, maybe two dog kind of dog.
Do you really need this fan gun?
No.
You don't?
What do you think about Rotties?
I love Rottweilers. I really do. I think they're an amazing breed. I really do. Ideally, like if I wasn't a breeder anymore, if I just like had dogs, I would probably have like one of a bunch of different kinds of dogs, and a Rottweiler would definitely be on that list.
Should I do chopped nothing or should I just do
No, we got the halves for you. We want big cookies.
big cookies?
Big cookies.
Okay, how do Connie Corsos deal with the cold?
Some of them have double coats, and that really helps. Not all of them do. But a lot of them, even if they don't have a double coat, if they live there long enough, will adapt to kind of growing out a longer coat. Preacher, where he came from, he actually had that longer coat, but Cashmere has a shorter coat, but that's just genetic. She actually comes from where it's cold. But they've had puppies that had longer coats, so I think it just depends on the genetics of your individual dog and whether or not they have a double coat or not.
And if if someone asked about filling out an application a year in advance, I would definitely recommend that because Rachel has such a long waiting list. You want to get ahead of the crowd. There's once the litters come out, there's no chance of getting a spot in them once people find out about it.
Do you want them thick or do you want them like big?
Thick because they're chunky.
Yeah,
The big ones.
Yeah.
And then Seneca is now alpha, but she's by herself. She's her own alpha.
Alpha over you, eh?
Yeah. No, she's very submissive. She has a very submissive personality, which confuses her in a lot of pack situations. Did Preacher have to take classes before being shown, like for stacking and other show-related things?
No, I did it.
And she's not really experienced. No, not like
I did it. I watched a couple of YouTube tutorials and then I asked the handler some advice and she gave me some tips and I followed them and did it. And then I dropped him off that night at like 8 p.m. and that morning he had won his first couple titles.
Where is the actual thing? Time.
Back to that
Okay,
mating.
a bunch of people are asking, what is the ideal pack size for a non-breeder? Basically, if someone's not interested in breeding, how many dogs can they have?
Savannah, will you watch that for me? I would probably, anything over 3 dogs or 3 dogs and up, you start to get pack behavior. So whether or not you want a pack or not, they're gonna start acting like one at 3 dogs. I guess it depends on how many that you personally can handle, and also like what kind of dogs that you have, and your limitations. So like if you have like Labradors, I'm sure you could have like a bunch of them. But if you have like Pitbulls, I probably wouldn't do anything more than 3 if I wasn't breeding them.
Yeah.
Sorry, honey. And then let me see, bacon, right? Yeah, we need the bacon.
Haha, what kind of makeup do you use? What brand?
Well, there's a
She'd
lot.
love to answer that.
There are many things I don't have.
I use a lot, but I'm gonna. So this Christmas, I actually treated myself to makeup that I normally would never have bought, ever. But I had a good year, and so I actually bought like Natasha Denona. So that's what's on my. I feel like ashamed even admitting that right now. Because it's like ridiculous, it's like a waste of money. It's not if you can afford it. If you can not even afford it, like if you just have money you just want to throw away, then
Go ahead.
okay, both use Estee Lauder 24 hour I think on the face, and I think I use Kat Von D contour kit, and
Okay.
I think I used like a Wet n Wild blush.
Lexi, thunder shirts work really well for dogs that are just very high anxiety. Give the compression is proven to calm dogs down, especially that ones that are more prone to
Mom,
being
can you
anxious.
the oven at 350?
And,
Y'all didn't buy parchment
okay.
paper?
No,
I don't.
they're spoiled.
Yeah, I'm not sure we know about allergies and Connie Corsos, but they are a short hair breed, but they have a double coat, so they have twice as much fur as a regular short hair
Go.
breed.
Ow.
Oh, if you had to, wow, this great question, Steesley, and she used to own a coonhound, so a coonhound or a Ridgeback?
If you had to choose.
Reach back.
Yeah, I think we all would agree with that.
Don't you dare get it.
Yeah, unless you're planning on hunting raccoons.
Get out. The bacon is not for you. Out.
Unless you're planning on hunting with the coonhound, don't get a coonhound. They are a working breed, and that's what they were created for.
And they're gonna do. They are bred to have the loudest, like most carrying voice that you can imagine. Like they're bred for it. The hunter needs to be able to hear them from far away. So unless you want that in your house, I wouldn't do it.
Patricia Preacher is going to be shown, I believe, 3 times in February, and so it's going to become a regular thing. You'll probably be seeing videos and all kinds of things about it. Okay, and then.
Okay. No.
Sorry, I'm trying to scroll back up and read all these questions. Did you answer the ideal pack size for a non-breeder?
Yes, 3.
3 dogs for a non-breeder. Someone was asking about your Patreon. Shay was asking about your Patreon questions. If you're going to answer those separately.
You have Patreon questions?
Are there Patreon questions?
We might have to go back and make a separate video for those if there are some questions
Are
that
there
we missed.
Patreon questions?
I don't know what that is.
Are there questions? I don't know.
Okay, yeah, we're not really in a position to check those right now, but those will get answered for sure, and they'll probably get answered separately.
I didn't know about them. I didn't get a notification that I had any questions.
And sorry, a lot of comments are coming in right now, guys. If you do have any questions, just go ahead and type them in again for me. It's kind of hard to keep up with sometimes when everyone types at once.
Try to cover the ones that haven't already been asked first. That way people...
Yeah, most people aren't repeating questions.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure.
Let's focus on the questions, guys, not the drama.
What drama?
I don't know. I
There's
can't
people
even.
in the comments.
Yeah, there's like one
and they're all
person.
like, block her!
Well, you have to block them then. If there's somebody in there, you need to block them.
I can't see Cynthia though. That's the problem. I think you have her blocked, and you're not able to see what she's typing, or she has you blocked or something. I'm
That's
not
not
sure.
possible.
Well, I don't see Cynthia's comments, guys, so I'm not sure what she's typing.
So you're gonna have to though, because like people like that can run astray.
Okay, stopping food aggression in a single dog home.
If somebody's telling you to then click on that person and make them a mod temporarily, and then that way they can remove the person if you can.
Okay, thank you, Jenna, for the donation, and she asked if there's any good Connie Corso breeders in Canada, and thank you, the Mexican, as well, for giving us another donation.
So, I don't know of any good breeders in Canada. The guy that bought a dog from me in Canada said there weren't any, and that's why he went to me. He paid a lot of money for the dog from me too. I know that he wanted to breed, so maybe he will start, but I don't think he's gonna. What is that? What is it? Oh.
And do you know of any breeders in New Jersey?
No, not New Jersey, no.
A lot of new merch is going to be coming out in the next couple of weeks. She's just backed up right now, but she's working on it, guys.
Better be easy.
Some real merch.
What? Real merch?
Yeah, better quality merch.
What are you talking about? Ours is
I guess
really
she
good.
doesn't even know. It's going to be a surprise.
Dude, rude. Are you just gonna talk crap about my merch?
We don't know of any breeders in Houston. There's really not a lot of.
Yeah, I do know of a breeder.
Well, we don't know of any good breeders in.
Bonnie, back off. A couple to avoid. So just be careful. Sometimes what you see is not what you're getting. So I can say, breeders Photoshop.
It's like
Okay, so any tips for a Presa Canaria that screams whenever she's alone?
I would, if she's alone, the only thing you can try is you can get a two-way talking system, like a security system, and try to talk to her. You can try to give her something to do, like some type of
toys.
toy or something to destroy. Maybe you could even like take the Calm toy that I use, fill it full of peanut butter.
That's a great
Give her
thing.
something like that.
she'll spend all day trying to fix that.
Yeah, I mean, there's things like that, but unfortunately when you're not there, it's definitely gonna be a lot more difficult, unfortunately. So, but in my experience, Preacher he had a lot of separation anxiety. It's because he's very attached to me. And,
Yes, sorry, Spooky. I'm gonna get to your.
And I use a two-way security system talk through thing. What's going on?
Oh yes. Okay. So Spooky's question was, and thank you for the donation as well. She wanted to know if you would ever buy it from Cape Fear again.
I don't know. I really like the Vicky, who is the breeder, as a person. I really do like her. But I've gotten two dogs now, Eclipse and Velocity, that I really am not very fond of their temperament. So I don't know if I would or not. So I don't know. It just depends, and the thing about it is like Preacher doesn't really look like his lines. Like the people that are responsible for Preacher's lines, they like a different looking dog than Preacher. And you can see it in their dogs. They all have very short muzzles, very wide eye set. They're not, they're very kind of thick. And so they just don't look like Preacher. And so I got Preacher, but I was very, very keen on making sure that he didn't look like most of the dogs in his line. So if you're looking for a dog like Preacher, you're not necessarily going to get it from dogs that come from his lines. And I know that's a weird thing to say, but if you saw his lines, you'd understand that.
Yes, Chobo, they're definitely capable of running alongside a bike, but if a squirrel runs in front of you, good luck. And how do you feel about? Thank you for the donation again, Jenna. And her question was, how do you feel about Newfoundland dogs?
I think they're beautiful. I actually wanted one, but here in Texas, it's just too hot for a dog with hair like that. But I think they're great. They're bred to save people. I think that's awesome. They're beautiful. I've met plenty of them. They're very sweet, like basically like big golden retrievers, big black golden retrievers. So, I think they're awesome dogs.
Roland Jesse asked.
No,
Sorry, I missed your question, Jesse.
350?
Okay, I'm trying to get to it here.
Don't eat any more bacon because I just need to dice this up.
Jesse, can you type that again? There's just so many comments coming in, I keep losing it.
You know you can
Here we go.
scroll up.
Okay, so yeah, I'm trying to, but then the comments come through. He doesn't care. My lab, Roddy Mix, hates pit bulls. He doesn't care about my other big dogs, but he will fight pit bulls. Is it possible for dogs to hate specific dog breeds?
Yes, it is, especially if they've ever had a negative encounter with that breed. And even more so, like sometimes it's the energy. So a lot of pit bulls can be very confident, not all, but a lot, can be very confident and a little disrespectful. And if a dog has a low tolerance for disrespectful, cocky dogs, he may have an issue. I know that I had a dog that had a preference for pit bulls. Like my pit bull, her name was Frances, and she would always come and play with pit bull puppies, but no other dogs, just pit bull puppies. So
And Sandy, she did answer that question, but I will give you one more time because it is an important question about established aggression and how to correct it.
Don't let your dogs fight over anything. Don't let them compete. Take away anything that can instigate fighting, like toys. Don't let, like if you're petting one, don't let the other one come up and try to get the attention away. Make them have very, very, very good respect for each other. No lines can be crossed, okay? Or you're gonna have a fight. And if you teach them to be that way, then they will learn to ignore each other.
Okay, and then two questions they keep asking them. The first one is Doberman Pinschers, what you think about them.
I love Doberman Pinschers, but they have extremely high energy.
And then the other one was, if you had to give up all your dogs and only do a small breed, which one would you go with? Yeah. He keeps asking.
Which one?
Early. You always want to start leash training early.
A Bull Staffordshire Terrier. If I had to go with just one small dog. I like Frenchies, but they're so unhealthy.
I love Frenchies.
And they can be a little annoying.
Yes, I thank you guys so much for letting me know that. I'm going to scroll back up. I did miss a donation just now. I'm going to try to find it. Okay, so Tamika Davis, sorry for missing your donation earlier.
Thank you, Tamika.
Thank you for donating first off. And her question was, do you have an alpha in your dog pack, or can you just be the pack leader only? Or do you have to have an alpha in your dog pack, or can you just be the pack leader?
No, there's you can just be the pack leader. Like what? So hold on. Here you go, vanilla. So the way it works is like, let's say that you have 3 dogs basically. You're having really awesome. Dude, come on.
I love how Velocity's just like minding your own business in the corner of the shop.
Alright, so so you are the alpha, and then you have your second in command. My second in command is Cashmere. Although she would like to be top, maybe she thinks she is, but I always let her know she ain't on the top. But she's like, so it's kind of like, so like when you have a pack, especially if you have a good pack like mine, then the way it works is that like you're like the CEO, but then you have like your CFO, right? So you're like the big wig, but he's the one that's really doing all the work.
Okay, thank you for the donations, Caroline and
Thank you,
Steesley.
Caroline And who?
Steesley.
Thank you,
He's donated a
Steesley.
few times asking questions, and
Thank
his
you.
question is, do you German Shepherd or a Doberman?
Okay. Very similar temperaments. For me personally, I would do the Doberman because there's not all the shedding that comes with the German Shepherd. And they're cooler looking, in my opinion.
And Caroline's question was breed recommendation as a companion for travel.
And I think they probably have better health too than German Shepherds. What was the question? I'm sorry.
Breed for travel. A breed companion
for somebody
travel.
who travels.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So you could do any small breed. You could do like Cocker Spaniels. You could do something like a.
Alja Willis, she just answered that question, so go back like 5 minutes and you'll see her answer your question.
But yeah, there's a couple. Where's the thingy? Where's my spatula thingy that I was using? I don't know. I gave it back.
Yours.
That's right over there.
It's over there. It's on the other side.
Where?
On the other side of the
No,
side.
the blue. I don't know. You were using a spatula. Right here. Never mind. I lost my mind.
So your breed companion for.
Right. So breed companion for travel. So you just want something with like a low energy level. I would almost say like something like even a greyhound would work because greyhounds actually, despite the fact that they run, are actually really chill dogs. What? Yeah, that's awesome. But yeah, something like a Cocker Spaniel, maybe even like God, what was I gonna say? Like a King Charles Spaniel would be really cool. A Lhasa Apso, is that how you say that? Would also be cool. I think, is it Tibetan Spaniel? Do they have that one? Am I remembering that correctly?
Thank you, Holly.
And Holly's question was, she owns a 7-month-old Staffy pup, and she wants to know how do I introduce a new pup into a home that has a 7-month-old.
Use the bag up here, actually. Don't use those pecans. Use these over here. I'm sorry. I'm listening. Hold on. I'm sorry. I'm coming. I just wanted her to use those because I know for sure that those are gluten-free and those actually are not.
Okay, so her question was she has a 7-month-old Staffy puppy, and she wants to know how to introduce a new pup into her house.
I would have them meet, if you don't know how your dog will act, I would have them meet, I need milk. I would have them meet on neutral ground, so not like maybe at a local park. And then you just monitor play. Don't let the older dog play too roughly with the new dog. And make them respect each other's boundaries and stuff like that, you know?
Thank you for the donation, YMK Creative. We're going to check the Patreon when we're done with the stream. That's might be a YouTube video, but any questions that are private.
Can you open it up?
It says it's live.
Really?
That looks like you could use more chocolate chips. I don't know.
No. Blondie, be quiet.
All right, and we're back.
Let me see. Oh, yeah. Looks good.
Okay, sorry about that, guys. I think it might be YouTube having some technical difficulties because there's nothing wrong on our end. Okay.
There we go.
Yeah, I think you could use more. Try to use both chocolate chips, like both times.
Yeah, I guess so, yeah.
What do you think about Basset Hounds?
They're pretty non-functional these days. They're, you know, they can have some health issues, but overall, not necessarily the worst breed. But
Oh, he did.
you know, I've met a couple of them, but the people that owned them just really got them for looks. So they just kind of did what they wanted. But I mean, they're big. They're actually pretty large dogs, but they're just not very active.
What do you think about Leonbergers?
Oh, those are pretty awesome dogs. Those are pretty awesome dogs.
And Tibetan Spaniels.
Yeah, Tibetan Spaniel. Never had one, but I was definitely looking into them whenever there's been a couple times where I thought maybe I might want like a small dog. And I've looked into, you know, small dogs, but I ended up wanting just to inquire about some Cocker Spaniels, some nice Cocker Spaniels, but unfortunately the breeder wouldn't sell me any.
And Krista wants to know about when a Connie Corso paws another dog, Connie Corso in the face, why you velocity pawed Oso in the face, and they wanted to know why you corrected her for that.
Because I didn't correct her for it, Cashmere did. And the reason why is because it was an inappropriate move on her part. Like she was just being too rough with too young of a puppy. And so Cashmere decided that she was going to correct her. Mm-hmm.
Okay, Sleep Mercy, she's asked us a few times, what made you pick Seneca, what made you pick Liberty out of her litter?
Her structure, yeah, her structure, and then after that, or really, you know, in combination with that, whenever I went to pick her up, she was just acted like she had kind of already known me, you know, jumping up on me and just being a really sweet dog.
She's a lot like Blondie.
So,
Kind of.
hey, you guys quit it now.
Gunway.
Hey, what did I say?
It's Oso, man. He's
No, it isn't. It's Cashmere's been humping Preacher because she's
Getting
fixing
ready.
to be in heat, and it's making everybody else.
Thank you for the donation, Gunway, and he wanted to thank you, Rachel, for helping him.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Okay.
So, did you ever open Patreon?
Oh yeah. We went as soon as I opened Patreon. We went offline. Try to log in again.
Oh crap! That's not even on my
Okay, I'm telling you, it did it again.
What? It did it again?
Yeah, I'm telling you. Yeah, we're online right now, but it lagged when I opened Patreon.
Oh, it lags.
I'm telling you, whenever you do something.
Preacher, no.
Okay. Any questions, guys? I might have missed a few. Shibas, what are your thoughts on them?
The Shiba Inu, as far as I've seen, they're pretty cool dogs. They seem to be very smart, somewhat independent, and they don't, from what I've seen, they tend to be pretty jovial in nature. Definitely a Spitz, so most likely a very stubborn dog, but very cool looking. Hey, you guys.
Tamika was asking if the color determines anything, the dog's personality or temperament.
No.
Just fur, man.
That's just fur.
I mean, I guess like if it was a certain breed and there's supposed to be a certain color, and you know,
There are certain colors that are more prone to health problems, but that's about it.
Thank you, Sandy, and thank you Tamika as well for the donation. And sorry we didn't fully answer your question correctly, but she meant established stranger aggression with dogs. So I think she's asking about a dog that's been aggressive to a person or a stranger and how to.
So you're gonna want to go and take the dog out for socialization when the dog is on a choke collar. That way you can actually like correct negative behavior. Because the problem is that when a dog wants to react to something, especially fear-based, then they. Oh, clean it off. Just wash it off. Take it outside and then wash it off. Anyway, so you're gonna have to have control of the dog because for especially the older the dog is, the more likely.
Oh, I'm sorry, Donald.
I'm pretty sure it is oil.
We'll get that answered right now.
So, and the other thing is, I should say, is that that's one of the questions that I need more information on because aggression can come from a lot of different places. How old is the dog? How old was it whenever you got it? Is it environmental? Is it genetic? Is it coming from the way that they were raised? Is it just because they were unsocialized? There are a lot of questions that have to be answered in order for me to accurately assess why a dog is being aggressive with people and how to fix it.
And that's a good question, Donald. He wanted to know, and this was from his donation earlier. I guess we missed it in the mix of everything. About is neutering male dogs healthier for them?
No, it's not healthier for them. It is not. It is. There are plenty of studies to show that neutering male dogs actually increases the chances that they will have cancers and breakdown and things like that. It's no different than people. It's not better for people to have to be that way either. So
Okay, thank you, Nicholas and Shay, again for the donation. And Nicholas's question was, I have an 8-month-old Connie Corso. Would you recommend a Dogo, Argentino, or a Neapolitan Mastiff for a second pup?
So what do you need help with? You have an afternoon.
I know I'm saying I need a bowl for water. I'm sorry, I'm doing the noodles. Dude,
Would you? He has an 8-month. These people are donating to ask questions.
I get it, but I'm also cooking. So if you would just
That smells delicious, by
thank
the
you.
way.
So if you would just like stop me and say, hey Rachel.
Yeah, we're backing up on questions, but we're good.
Okay. So
I have an 8-month-old Connie Corso. Would you recommend a Dogo Argentino or a Neapolitan Mastiff for a second pup?
a Dogo because there's less health problems associated with them than a Neo.
And that's a good question too, Shay, but it's kind of pretty complicated to answer. And she wanted to know if any of your pups have had any health problems.
I had one puppy that had cherry eye. I've had another puppy that had a puppy heart murmurs. No word yet as to whether or not that has resolved itself. It's very common in large breed dogs to have heart murmurs, so we'll see. I did offer. I told her that I need something to boil water in for noodles.
Well, I can just boil that.
Yeah, well, there's oil in it.
Yeah. So, I told her that if it is severe, I'll replace the puppy. I don't have any reason to think that it would be, but the odds that something like that will happen when you are breeding large breed dogs is very, very common. Most of the time they grow out of it. It's not a big deal. It's not considered a problem. But if they don't, then it is a problem. And obviously, will need to be medicated or corrected or whatever.
Is this water for noodles?
I have bottled water.
Okay.
Or it's in the room, that room.
Alright.
You're gonna have to do that. I'm gonna ask you a few more questions.
Okay.
Got a bunch of people.
That's fine. Savannah, I need you to stop doing what you're doing and help out. Stop with the cookies and help out.
All right. I'm gonna try to get back into these questions. Thank you for the donation, Lynn. And this might be a little bit out of order, but I'm gonna scroll back and make sure I get everyone. Jessica's question was, hey ladies, if you're not planning on breeding a female, would you spay her after her first heat?
Yes, I would. You do not want to leave a female natural. And the reason I say that is because females, and I get a lot of people asking me why I breed cashmere every time. The reason that I do that is because there is no benefit to not breeding a female. The female's body goes through the same process whether she's bred or not, and that process is harmful to her body if she's not bred, and that's where you get pyometria from. Go out now, out. Get out now, out. So the hormone, I think it's progesterone that the female's body goes through, has a very harsh effect on the uterus. And when a female is bred, that's why I said clean it.
The oil is fine. Just
No, it's not.
Yeah, it's fine. You want oil in the water
But
for the.
that's a myth. You don't want water in your. You don't want oil in your noodle
Really?
water.
Wow.
It prevents it from getting any. Please wash it out, Savannah, with soap.
I am right now.
Okay, thank you.
And Jenna asks what your thoughts are on beagles.
Beagles, I wouldn't want one. They're very loud. It's another working dog, I guess if you don't care about noise, you don't care about barking. If I remember correctly, they are one of the longest. They take the longest to mature, if I'm not mistaken.
Your thoughts on Puggles and Saint Bernards?
Puggles and Saint Bernards. Saint Bernards are pretty awesome. Large breed dog that, as far as I know, really doesn't suffer from a lot of health problems. They do have a longer coat, but as long as you don't care about the hair, I don't think it should be a problem. Puggles, I'm not really a fan of those designer breeds for the most part. Ow! I'm not going to say that they're bad, but I'm just I'm not a fan of all of it.
Thank you so much for all the support, Shay. We really appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
She just wanted to thank you for being so honest and amazing.
Absolutely.
And we had another question, and thank you for the donation. I'm sorry we don't know how to pronounce your name in language, but you asked, is it possible for Connie Corsos to have spots like a Dalmatian? Not similar to a Dalmatian. I bumped into a breeder on Instagram called Notorious Corsos.
Yeah, that guy is a liar. He is a money-hungry person. He is manipulating people that don't know any better by trying to overcharge for dogs that are not purebred. He's introducing a color that is well known for having a lot of health problems. Merle is a really, really tricky color. And people like him should be ashamed of themselves and should not be able to breed.
Steesley wants to know country towns with water outside of Austin. It's everywhere.
What? Yeah.
We're on what's called the Edwards Aquifer, and so we live on a giant hole in the ground, kind of like what California is afraid of, but ours is full of water. And so there's lots of springs, and whenever it rains, water just flows out of the ground. But it's also very rocky here. Do you know of any good breeders in Michigan?
No. Did you put water in it? No. No, not Michigan. No, not personally. So.
Okay, so, sorry, Peter North kind of threw me off there. All right. Oh, Richard Santana keeps asking, are there any dogs you'd breed into the Corso?
No. No, not right now. No. How do I switch it around? Oh. Here we go. All right. I think we're good. Can't make any guarantees. We're trying.
Can you put the pin in? Let's see what we got here. See, we're back. All right. Sorry about that, guys.
All right. Whew. All right. Sorry,
so
you
I'm not
guys.
sure what questions were asked during that time, but we were just trying to get on. I know I'm not on top of it. I was supposed to be watching the battery. Would you pick a working dog or a show dog?
Depends on if I'm working it or just chilling at home.
What would happen if you brought another male in that wasn't Preacher? Or wasn't his son even?
It would be like bringing in any dog. It wouldn't matter. You just have to make sure that they don't get aggressive, you know? Hey! Can you make sure the view is good?
And everyone wants to know about what dog you're going to get to breed with Velocity and Midnight.
I put in a deposit for a male dog from a different breeder. And I am waiting for that puppy to be born.
And everyone wants to see the food.
Yep. So, I actually need to do. Can you bring me the milk?
Alicia, we talked about that breeder earlier.
Rough house?
Yep.
Honestly, I don't know why people can't see him for who he is, to be honest with you. He posted a picture or video of his dog's breeding. Who does that?
As the thumbnail.
Yeah, as the thumbnail. Who does that?
If that's like a fetish and you know, like he's probably kind of caught.
Thank you for the donation,
Somebody
Katie.
thirsty for views. That's who.
How do you clean your cowhide rug if a dog pees or vomits on it?
You have
Unless
to get
they
to
are
it
real
quickly.
cowhide.
You have to get to it quickly. Use a paper towel to try to soak it up, and then you can, after you've gotten it all up, you can even take a steam cleaner on the hair side and just do a real quick with the handheld, the steam cleaning on it. If it soaks all the way through, then I would use Odoban and give it a soak. We bought some of that. Reese told us about it, so we bought some of that, and it was excellent.
And the thing with
Highly recommend it.
the thing with cowhides is that if you put them in a high traffic area where you're constantly walking over them or your dogs are, the hair's going to fall out a lot quicker.
Yeah.
And that's also why you want to invest in.
Yeah.
Because-
Whether or not you get quality or not, the hair will still, if it's high traffic, it's still gonna come out.
Yep.
So yeah. That's better. That's better.
Is there a point in time where socializing a dog is too late?
Yes, it is. Yeah. Depends on the personality of the dog. But yes, you can absolutely get there. Savannah, I need more water for this.
Just getting are you another female?
Meeting another female from another breeder. So we'll, she was supposed to be born yesterday night. I haven't received any word, any pictures, any news. So we'll see what happens.
And Jay, we talked about him quite a bit throughout the stream, so just look back in the history of it. And we will be soon.
For what?
What recipe?
Yeah, for what you're doing, it's easy.
Since when were we posting a recipe? We never did that last time. We just cooked.
Looks so good.
What do you think about giant schnauzers?
I even looked into getting them, but I can't. I don't like the long hair, unfortunately.
And when the other girls are in heat, how do you keep Preacher from getting to them?
I put them in kennels where he can't, and then he stays with me. Yeah.
And
That way he's not unsupervised around them.
do you pick your dogs from pictures or in person?
I prefer in person, but I've picked pictures. But mostly you have to go like off the if you can from somebody who's already bred the dogs before, like so that you can see what the offspring look like. And then you want to know what the parents look like, what the grandparents look like, stuff like that. Because you're not going to get what you think is in front of you. It's going to mature into what is already there. Go on.
Thank you for the and
Thank you.
someone asked favorite movie with a dog in it. I think I know.
What? I think you know.
What's your favorite movie that has a dog in it? There's not many.
There's a lot.
There's not any good ones.
No. Probably Turner and Hooch.
Yep, I knew it. That's like the best dog movie ever, other than like All Dogs Go to Heaven. Homeward Bound is another great one.
Homeward is a good
I'm probably forgetting one or two, but yeah, there's only a handful of really good dog movies.
Hachi's for the emotional. Or to get emotional, if you want to get emotional.
Dying?
No.
Yeah, we'll have to check that one
I
out.
heard that was like some childish thing. It was like the child dog movies, like,
A bunch of people stopped breeding pit bulls.
Because there's too many people breeding them, and you can't educate people on what a real pit bull is and what's not. People just want what everybody else has. Whatever name is popular at the time. I was breeding, it was Gotti line. You got that razor's edge. Stuff like that.
And
I don't have time for that kind of crap.
if you can repeat the dog mom aggression question, I must have missed it.
Dog mom aggression? What's that?
Yeah, I don't know.
No, they're talking about somebody with the username.
Yeah,
dog.
Old Yeller and Where the Red Fern Grows. Those
Oh,
are great
yeah.
movies. Yeah,
Yeah.
classics.
But see, I never watched those movies. I only read them. I read the books.
Yeah, great books too. Preacher does sleep with Rachel in her bed.
Mama, where's the foil?
A Dog's Purpose too. That's a good one.
Down there, I thought.
Red Dog. Okay, someone wants you to watch the movie called Red Dog.
Okay.
That sounds like a good movie.
That sounds like a movie I'm gonna cry on.
Yeah.
My
Luis.
Red Dog.
Can I use one of these?
For the donation.
Yeah.
Do you feed turmeric paste? No, but it is really good for inflammation.
Yeah, I would if I had a dog with it. I would.
Heartworm and flea protection for your dog. I hate giving them trifexis or basically poison every month.
Yeah, I don't. I'll be honest with you, I don't. I don't keep my dogs outside. If my dogs get fleas, I give them a bath with Dawn dish soap and they come off. If I have to, I'll spray the house, but like I really haven't had to. I do not like the idea of putting pesticides on my dog every day. So.
How often do you bait? Oh, let's do these paid questions first. Okay, thank you for the donations, guys. Tweakers and Burn. Rachel, going back to one of your videos, you spoke about pit bulls not being a good guard dog. Maybe I have it wrong. Can you expand?
Yeah. Oh, that's so good. Oh my God, that's really good.
I know, I'm like dying over here.
Yeah. So the original pit bull. We're talking about a dog that has changed with the times, adapted with the times. It is a dog that has evolved with us. Now, its most recent stage, other than its bully stage, was used for fighting other dogs. In that process, other dogs were bred in, and there were very specific protocols used. And most of the time, you didn't have to worry about human aggression. In fact, they wouldn't breed pit bulls that were what are called man biters, meaning that they would actually bite people. Now, does that mean that there were none? No, that's not true. If you Google Colby man biter, you'll see that, or pit bull man biter, you'll see, especially like game dog man biter, you have to look for certain terms. You'll find old school dog men talking about the couple man biters that there were. So there were dogs that did go after people. I want to say, I think it was Colby. I want to say it was Colby. It could have been a different breeder. That maybe Garner, but I want to say it was Colby, whose grandson was attacked by one of their dogs. So it's not to say that there hasn't been any human aggression, but it is much less likely. Most pit bulls are very, very people-friendly dogs, and it does not come naturally to them to be human aggressive. Now, when you mix in big dogs, like anything over 50 pounds, 55 pounds is really not a pit bull at that point. You're dealing with some kind of Mastiff mix, and Mastiffs, whether it be American Bulldog or some other kind of Mastiff, are going to have a wariness of people. So you're breeding in a suspicion of people, a willingness to attack people in with a terrier. And you're going to get the traits of dogs that you've seen where they will actually attack people and stuff like that. But it is not a natural characteristic of that breed. It's like saying that a Connie Corso really isn't a protective breed when they are. Sure, there are some that are not, but most are. So with pit bulls, most are not good protectors. Some can be, but most are not, especially if you're not home. That's even a big one. But it's not always the case, but most of the time they're not. Which is why, for example, I wouldn't hesitate to break up a pit bull fight. I would grab a pit bull by the back legs in a heartbeat because I'm not really afraid of that dog turning around and biting me, but I would not step in for any other breed because the odds of that dog turning around and trying to get you are very high.
Okay, and I'm sorry if I haven't gotten any of y'all's questions. I'm not trying to avoid anyone. It's just the chat goes so fast, and then we get donations, and we try to make those a priority since they're paying to ask a question. And if you guys are having problems with your quality, there's a little gear on the bottom of your video, and you can actually go up and change the video quality. I recommend doing that because YouTube automatically puts it on a really low setting.
Depending upon your internet speed.
Yeah, it's based upon your internet and everything.
Yep. going, but whatever. Right.
Try a different browser.
Mm-mm.
See if it's working on there.
Yeah, you really need to talk to your people though.
What
Oh, we're back. Sorry, guys.
Bear with us,
Please.
please.
Okay. Yeah, this is literally coming to you guys from like the middle of nowhere. So you gotta appreciate that you can
We
view
don't
things
come up
like
on
this.
Google Maps.
Yeah,
I'll tell you that.
this place doesn't even exist on Google Maps.
Yeah.
We'll have to wait until like 2020. So we're relevant.
Okay, now I gotta find this question. We're gonna scroll back up, try to find a few questions.
I wonder if we can out Google Maps.
Okay, my dog had maternal aggression for 2 days after birth. My vet says it's normal, but I can't
Oh.
help but take it personal. Your take?
Yeah, yeah. So I've seen it before. As long as it goes away, it's really not a big deal, especially if it's a new mother. If she does it again with her next litter, then I would be worried. I probably wouldn't breed her again if she did it again.
What's she doing eating?
But a first-time mother, not really a problem. Ow, 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 ow. Ow! Get out now. All right.
I'm actually just gonna pause this stream. Maybe that'll help our internet.
I'm hungry.
Okay. Yeah, Liberty is so sweet.
Oh yeah.
This has been asked a few times, but it is a really important question. How do you affect?
Well, you've already
You
answered that,
look
yeah.
for a confident dog that's not overly confident. So one that's friendly but isn't like jumping all over you and biting you. One that is one that doesn't go looking for a fight but doesn't back down from one either. Out now. And one that
Like a not
that-
a bully, but somebody who
that has good structure.
Those cookies look like they're going out too far. I forgot that. I'm supposed to
Okay.
separate
I'm not. Do you know what Petland is, Rachel?
No.
I'm not sure we have that around here.
Oh, I'm pretty sure they have one of those in, like
I've heard it.
Japan.
I think we've heard about it, and it's not nothing good that we've heard of it, but I don't think we have
Is
them.
it a pet store?
No,
I think
like
it's-
a Japan. It's like in Japan. It's like a zoo, but instead of like pets,
Yeah.
like dogs and cats.
Really?
Like normal fairy.
In
So it's
Sarah, it's okay to breed a female every heat that she goes into, so that's twice a year. And it's actually healthier for a female to be bred than for her to go into heat and not be bred. And thank you, Jacqueline, so much for the donation. Her question is: she is a 10-month-old, not neutered Connie Corso, being given away. Seems to show some aggression. Can he be tamed? I would like to take this one, but I'm concerned he was a dog. Meeting him tomorrow.
Well, depends on what he's showing aggression over. If he's fearful, I would probably be wary. If he's dominant aggressive, I would actually be more willing to work with that than a fear biter, like a dog that's shy and skittish. If he's shy and skittish, I'd stay away. They oftentimes don't react very well to things, and can react poorly to things. So it just depends. Also, if the dog is even dog aggressive, sometimes like fearful dogs can do better with another dog, but not always. So it just depends. I would see him, see how he is, but just don't get your heart set on anything. Just go with an open mind, but don't go with anything other than just the interest to look and get to know him.
Yes, thank you for the donation, Holly. And yes, anytime your dog is in heat, if it's a female, always kennel them to ensure, because they will attract other dogs from other
Yeah.
areas. It's very uncontrolled, so you always want to have your
Yeah.
female when she's in a very secured area.
And a
A,
dog,
a
male
kennel
dog
that she can't break out of because she'll try to. That's when the females, they go crazy when they
Yeah,
go to eat.
females want to breed just as bad as the males do.
And my dog used to be so dog friendly and submissive, but she's gotten older, 3 years old. She's gotten less tolerant of pushy dogs and is getting
Yeah.
into more fights often. She's
Yeah.
an American Bulldog.
Yeah. Nothing you can do about that other than not take her where there's disrespectful dogs. Older dogs are going to be that way. Older people are the same way. That's why we always say that And we joke about getting older and we say, I'm gonna be that guy that's get off my lawn. You know, it's the same thing. You know, most of the time it's arthritis and stuff like that. They just don't feel as well and they don't want to be messed with. So they deal with it quick. And unfortunately there's nothing you can do about that other than kind of respect the fact that they're old and they kind of need that. You know, it's the other dogs that need to behave themselves.
Okay, so Astro, and I'm glad you said that, and thank you for the donation. I believe there is one Petland or a chain that's really similar to them. It's one of those pet stores where you go in and all the dogs are along a wall, almost like a fish store where they're all in cages and everything.
Dogs.
And so yeah, that's just a horrible way to buy. I can't imagine people actually go into those stores and purchase.
The dogs like groceries. You go in, you're like, I want that dog. You pay for it.
When I was a kid, I remember pet
I think
stores.
there is one in Austin.
But I've never bought a dog from a pet store, never would.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. I felt sorry for him. How can you just look at
It's
these
sad.
poor little puppies in these boxes? Good lord.
Yep.
Like something you can
And those dogs are never health tested. They never come with real papers. It's just almost a black market for animals. And someone was asking about English bulldogs. They wanted to get an English bulldog.
No, don't get an English bulldog.
Yeah.
Not unless you want to spend a lot. Not unless you want to spend over what you paid for the dog in vet bills. Yeah, I wouldn't do it.
They've got a lot of health issues. Dude, is that about to die? Why is the lighting so dark?
I'm just trying to. Just, yeah, it's fine.
Oh yeah, I should plug it in for you.
Has Preacher seen Sir Bark?
Yes, he has seen him. He doesn't like him.
Yeah. Yeah, Sir Barks-a-Lot is really getting. Everybody's sick of Sir Barks-a-Lot.
Yeah.
Even like the people who lived here long
No.
before Rachel all hate that dog.
Go.
Bad reputation around here.
Around town.
Oh man. Does a watch pot never boil?
Hey, I wouldn't say a female Pitbull would get aggressive when she's in heat, but she might show signs that she's.
They do. They get aggressive. All females get more aggressive when they're in heat. Men get more aggressive when they're.
Just give them chocolate, but don't give your dog chocolate. That's poisonous.
She's drinking what she always drinks, which is
Tea.
the nectar of the gods, sweet tea.
She does not drink alcohol.
You're gonna get like a copyright strike.
Why? Dude, she's been a loyal fan of that sweet tea for, God, I don't even know how long, like before I was born.
What about Liberty with her structure and her muzzle impressed you?
About Liberty?
Uh-huh.
So Liberty is you have to have an eye to be able to see Liberty. Liberty is going to be such a big dog, and big dogs when they're puppies, it's like you're fitting all this bigness into this little package, and you just squish it together, and it distorts the image, you know.
It's small.
And you have to make it bigger again before it's going to actually look like what it actually looks like. So with her, you know, you just have to know what you're looking at. You have to be able to see, past. For example, like a lot of people have made statements about her looks or whatever, and it's like they're looking at her coat color, they're looking at her pattern, they're not looking at the actual, borders of her body, like everything that really defines what she's gonna look like. They're not really looking at that. They're not seeing that.
So Preacher was a very scrawny puppy too. He wasn't
I
big.
can't find the question about dominance, about how you recognize. I guess how you recognize when a dog is going to be dominant. What are the signs of a dominant dog?
So if another dog comes up and tries to mess with them, or even mess with them, they'll put their tail up real high and they'll walk away, or maybe they'll get aggressive and tell them to get off of them. Usually, it's kind of hard to tell sometimes, because sometimes a dog that isn't dominant can act like they're dominant. So it's usually a kind of muted, it's like I said, you're not looking for a fight, but you're not backing down from one either. Now, Oso can be a bit of a jerk, and he can go looking for a fight a lot, but yet he's still really dominant. So, you know what I mean? That's why I say it can be hard. It's just kind of like people. Can you tell a confident person from a non-confident person? Well, we're not really, because a lot of people have false, fake confidence, where they're really insecure, and so
Like bullies.
you have to I have to look at the dog and kind of take all things in considered, and then say, okay, well, I think that this particular dog is actually insecure, not really dominant, even though he's trying to come off as dominant because he's insecure and he doesn't want to get messed with. Yes, we're boiling. Woo!
Yeah, that was ridiculous, but you're always going to find crazy stuff on here. Thank you for the donation, Jenny.
Thank you.
And we all love North Carolina. I have a lot of family from North Carolina, Blowing Rock.
I like Tennessee.
What else? All around Cape Fear, really.
I want to see Tennessee.
Boone, all those areas.
Tennessee. That's where it's at. That's where we're moving.
Yeah. Rachel's going to be moving soon. It's going to be Tennessee, guys.
Yeah. It's really pretty over there. Usually I would be
That's my 2-year plan.
Usually I'd be like, nah, man, I don't want to move. Which it wouldn't really matter if I didn't want to.
And Jesse has asked, what are your opinion on having your current dog pick your new puppy? Like bringing your dog into a pound to see which dog they like best. Obviously, for someone who is trying to find a new pet to fit into their home.
Good, but
obviously,
not really.
You want them to play and see each other, but
Yeah.
that might not work out taking them to the pound to go walk through the
It's
dog.
just a very high stress place because of the fact you'll probably may not react very well to that dog. Like you're probably not going to get the most natural the most natural result in that regard. I would.
Oh.
What?
Oh, we're good. Keep going. I think there might have been a little
I would
lag.
try to find out, if you go to a dog park, or if you know that your dog can be friendly, I would try to get out. I would try to identify what personalities your dog is attracted to, that he actually enjoys interacting with, and then look for that same temperament in a dog at the shelter. And then you can try to schedule some type of play date, maybe preferably maybe off the property. Maybe you could get a lot of times you can work with a trainer and maybe hey, and kind of have a meet and greet outside of it. I don't know if they'll let you do that, but if you do a foster, you could try that.
Okay, a couple questions. Dogs with car anxiety. What's the cause and how do you fix it?
Just kind of like fear of heights, basically. I mean, it's just another. Oh yeah, those are burned, girl.
Pull them out. Put them in the freezer, Savannah. Hurry.
Dude, wait. Move out.
Don't burn the cookies.
Oh, dude, really? We're gonna burn our cookies. How you gonna be like that, man? Look at these cookies.
In the freezer, quickly.
Cookies! Those are not gonna fit in there.
Watch out.
Oh, here, go through there.
Move.
Charger.
Yeah, I know, bro. I see it. Here. Oh
Wait,
God,
it's
don't
hot.
touch it.
Here, give it
Oh, it's way too
Give
hot.
it to me.
No. Ah! I told you it was gonna be too hot for you to grab on. Oh.
Okay.
I'm like screaming for him.
Anyway.
I'm not even touching
Okay,
the pan.
sorry. Jessica, thank you so much for that donation. Sorry we had hot
He
cookies.
grabbed that pan.
With my bare hands. I am a chef. 7-month-old Connie Corso female demand at us.
Quit eating my bacon. Get
So she barks in demand. And 7-month-old Corso, when I tell her no, like a challenge, I put her
she
in
barks
submission
back?
posture, but she keeps it up. So she's real bossy.
Yeah, real dominant. So she's like
Yep.
Rasta. You need to look up my trainings that I did with Rasta. Do a channel search and look up Rasta. That's the guy that did that too. You'll figure out how to do it. It's just you have a little warrior, so you're just gonna have to maintain the motto that if you win every battle, you can't lose the war. So I say ride them hard, ride them early, ride them often, and dogs like that will come into line. But don't let her get away with anything, or you'll have to work twice as hard to get her out of it.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the donation, Astro. And he asked if you live in a home with others and you want your dog bonded to you specifically, is it a good idea for only you to feed the dog? Definitely.
Yeah, only you to feed the dog, only you to walk the dog.
Or just get a Connie Corso.
Only you to sleep with the dog. things like that. Very intimate things. Only you need to be doing them with the dog.
Yeah.
So,
But you also want to socialize your dog too, because then it'll become aggressive.
Someone was asking if prom collars are okay to use on. I'm not sure what
What type is
bonkers
it?
are.
It is
That sounds pretty aggressive though. A bonker.
a bonger.
A bonker.
A bonker.
Like
Is
you
that a
bonk
dog?
them on the head. I don't know.
What's a dog? What?
What's a dog bonker?
You don't even.
I've never heard of
Are
that.
prom collars okay?
Prong collars? Yeah, they're fine. I mean, you know, like honestly, all you really need is a choke collar, but prong collars can give you a little bit more control.
And how do you stop a dog that cries constantly 24/7? High energy, bouncing on the spot and screaming, so insecure.
So, what is it again?
How do you stop a dog from screaming constantly and jumping around and just being crazy?
Forcing them to be calm. So the dog needs a dog bed, and the dog needs a dog bed, and he needs to lay in that dog bed while you're watching him and just practice being calm, you know.
Okay, so a bonker is a rolled up towel.
Oh, a rolled up towel?
Yeah.
Is that good to hit your dog with?
I'm not sure.
I mean,
Yeah, we'll have to know more about a bonker. I've never
A towel?
And walking dogs for always, it doesn't always work.
Yeah, no, it doesn't always work.
They'll outwalk you most of the time.
Not only that, but sometimes the walk itself can actually increase aggression and energy, especially if you don't walk the dog correctly. So if you're letting the dog pull you around and do whatever they want, then your walk really isn't doing anything. So, so.
What if I open the freezer?
Don't open the freezer.
Are they gonna
Seriously,
fall?
don't open the freezer.
No, I gotta do
Listen,
it.
stop. You guys be careful.
Alright, sorry guys. Savannah's trying to eat all the cookies.
Did you feed her?
Dude, see, look, they're falling.
Savannah, did you
I did,
fix it?
I'm pretty sure I blocked and banned everyone.
Grab it.
There were some really weird comments, guys, but I tried to get them out of here.
Got it.
You heard of dogs who hurt themselves or fake limp to get their owner's attention? Definitely, Jesse.
Yes.
That is like, oh my god, that's such a thing.
Yeah, our dog Terrible used to do it.
Oh my god.
Yeah, he would. He would.
I'm gonna put these in the deep freezer.
They should be done, dude. You don't really need to do that.
I would leave them in the freezer so they cool off. Or put them in the
God.
fridge.
You guys are so dramatic.
Cook them.
No, they won't.
Alright, here, Savannah.
Blondie is definitely a Savannah dog.
Feed her.
Prong collars do not hurt the dogs if they're used properly. It's all about the application. You know, pulling on it and stuff. It's more of just a communication tool for the dog. The cookies were put in the freezer because Savannah forgot about them in the...
I did not forget about them. They were in there for
You gotta turn off the oven. But anyways, they look great though.
They are great, thank you.
Okay.
No, I am. I'm just getting blood.
Yeah, you gotta watch out for that fake lip, man. The certain dogs will do it till they die.
Fake lift their way to heaven.
Yeah, literally. Good point, Savannah.
Velocity's done it before.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's funny right there. I don't care if you either.
Okay, thank you for reposting that question. Someone's adopting a half Malamute, half German Shepherd dog. Do you think it would be a good balanced dog? Yeah, that's a tough one, man. You got a handful on you.
Depends on the individual dog. If you're adopting it, it sounds like it's already older, so you know. But I would not. I wouldn't think of that as being an easy breed to deal with by any stretch of the imagination. But then you always run the risk of it just being an odd, awesome dog, you know, just a random good dog.
I bet he's disrespecting you when he does that. We've talked about Dog Dynasty quite a bit on numerous streams, so you just have to go back and hear what Rachel's thoughts are on them. What's the proper way to use a prong collar or a choke collar? It's a good question. And you don't, whenever the dog is choking, you're not using it correctly. That's definitely what you don't want. But
yeah, the idea is not to choke the dog. The idea is to not allow the dog to pull. If the collar is in the correct position on the head, then the dog can't pull without cutting off their own airway. It's not you, it's the dog. So he learns that if he wants to be comfortable. He's got to sit right next to you. If he doesn't, he's not going to get anywhere. He's just going to, it's going to choke him out. Quit.
Please don't send us gallons of sweet tea either. We appreciate it, but we don't need
Send all the tea.
Oh, no, they're gonna send it to your PO box.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
We appreciate a nice like herbal tea.
No, just traditional good.
Lori, that
Southern
depends.
sweet tea.
If your dog is frequently using the bathroom,
Milk, Savannah.
peeing
you
on
asked for
everything
milk?
and stuff
Yeah, I
like
did.
that, it might be that you need to get them dewormed. They could have a weak bladder from intestinal worms.
Okay.
And otherwise, they should only go to the bathroom like once or twice a day. You also want to plan
What
your
are you talking about?
your regiments around
Why
that.
do you do that?
I only
So good. You gotta get out. No. Out.
There we go. We're back. Sorry guys, lost you
These
again.
edges right here are the best. Mama.
All right, you're back.
There's so much.
All right, sorry if I missed any questions, guys. Just go ahead and type them in. Oh my gosh, mandatory shots. What do you think about that?
There's such thing as that.
The raise is mandatory.
No, whenever you go into boarding facilities and stuff, and they can make you get boosters.
That's like insurance agency stuff. But hey, seriously, no. Out.
Out
Now. You are bad dogs. Get out right
Haley,
now.
we already talked about Dog Dynasty. We're not going to do it again. We've done it multiple times on this stream.
You're just gonna grab it. You're like, okay, thank you. Doesn't even hang.
Oh, the noodles are ready. Pull them off. Look at this, y'all. Can you see it?
That's gluten
You
free.
got to get up on here.
Can you see it?
Yeah, get up on it.
Scissor.
You can hear you singing. Ow.
What do you think of ovary sparing spay? I'm not sure what that is.
Very good. It keeps the hormones, but none of the bad stuff, as far as I know. Very good.
And the reason that I'm trying to answer some questions is because there's just so many coming in. Rachel, I view Rachel as like her own Caesar Milan. She's like the new generation Caesar Milan. She's an expert in every
I'm a
field.
woman.
When it comes to dogs, she knows everything. She's an
I don't
it's
know
like,
everything.
Good luck.
Nobody knows everything.
Good luck finding
Trainer.
someone else who
No,
knows
are you
more than
looking for a
Rachel
trainer?
about dogs. Velocity's going to be bred in a few months, probably about 6 months.
No, it's not, well, yeah, she'll be bred then, but her heat will be like next month.
Oh, yeah.
And all the dogs are right around here. Rachel's cooking, so she doesn't want them in the kitchen.
He's not going to be bred in 6 months.
In the next 6 months.
That's really.
Yeah, 7 months.
Yeah.
Dude, these noodles are so good.
Rachel feeds her dogs a combination of raw chicken leg quarters and a kibble from Costco.
Sometimes.
All right. So.
What would you do if your neighbor's dog got you with one of your females?
That's what
Especially
we're worried about.
a preacher.
Yeah, I've already thought about that. That we'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
That is a pit bull over there.
Yeah, it's not. I don't want my dogs fighting him. That's for sure.
Yeah, because the neighbors are going to be like, I'm going to shoot your dog.
Yeah.
No.
So I don't know. That's a weird one. I'd probably try to run him off, chase him out. Something like that. Hopefully, we would see it before we let the dogs out, because if he comes over here and I don't see him and I let all my dogs out,
No, stop. Alex, you're going to fill up on the cookies.
there's nothing that I would be able to do about
You've
it.
been sitting there eating cookies.
They would
I'm
maul
not
that
saying
dog. And I don't think that even I would be able to get in between them, because when they get turned on like that, they can't hear. It's that mob mentality,
They're all barking, they're all
Yeah.
grabbing, they're all pulling, they're all every single one of the pack members is focused on getting that dog.
Mm-hmm.
And there's like, that's
Thank you,
that.
Nadia, for the donation. And her question was, she rescued 2 abandoned 1-month-old pit bulls with no mother.
Uh-huh.
How do you correct pups as Cashmere does with her without messing up the bond? Also, alpha rolling, starting, age, and tips.
Yeah. So you have to not be afraid of messing up the bond. That's the thing. Like, Cashmere is never afraid of messing up a bond between her and anybody else. You do as you're told,
Mom,
or
can
there are
someone go away from the
consequences.
cookies?
And so, no, dude, don't
I'm
eat
not
all the
eating the
cookies.
cookies.
You've eaten enough.
Can we
And we have to-
not accuse me of eating the cookies
I'm
before
just
I eat
saying
them?
they're like covering over the
We
cookies.
I put the cookies away.
We will all descend upon the cookies.
Savannah's
at one
gonna take
time.
over the questions and stuff. I'm gonna go eat cookies.
Are you going swimming?
You jerk! You said you weren't gonna eat cookies.
Are you going, sorry. Are you going swimming with the dogs? Wait, no, never mind. I think that's somebody else asking another person question. Good night. Whoever that was, I don't know.
You got this, Savannah?
Yeah,
Alex,
are
no
you
more
good?
cookies. Thank you for the reply, my dog. I like so he's precious. Considering you said ideal pack sizes, considering pack functions better with the opposite sex, 1 boy and 2 girls, or 1 girl and 2 boys, specifically asking for a Connie Corso
This is
breed.
why I hate Preacher.
I would get
I'm gonna show them.
No, don't show them!
2 females and 1
Stop
male.
What age do you start puppies on?
Like honestly, for me, like my last puppies, around as soon as they had teeth, I started getting it ready for them.
What is better?
Oh, give me Liberty. I need to give her.
She's right there.
Hey, you got Alex. Don't rile them up like that.
I already fed
especially
her.
with
It's just
Liberty.
velocity.
I already fed her.
I mean, with Velocity. I know you fed her, but I need to give her
Yeah,
her
right there.
medicine for her ears.
Is Savannah homeschooled or does she go to public school? At the moment, I'm homeschooled. I'll go to public school next year, once I start high school. Male Connie Corso used to recall great. What was that? Seriously, Alex, can you go get that? Alex? Mama, I think they knocked over the trash can. Can you check?
Oh my God, Alex!
Dude, I'm watching the comments.
can you
You're
get
supposed to be
that?
watching
Yeah,
the
no, I got it. I just have to go to the bathroom real quick. I'll take care
But
of
you
it.
riled them up before you did.
They riled themselves.
Okay.
How do you suggest stopping food aggression in a single dog home? She just started at 31.
You put that up. When she turned 1 year old?
Said, how do you suggest stopping food aggression in a single dog home? She just started in turning 1.
Okay. That's actually not the most common thing. Usually they do it as puppies. It's harder to do when it's an adult, but I would, instead of giving her all of her food at once, I would give it to her, like hand feed her one by one, and see if that helps. And then you need to start working on your obedience. I would do 15 minutes of obedience every day, training, or at least 3 times a day, or three times a week, to try to repair that relationship with the dog.
The person said, my 4-month-old Pitbull puppy loves people and gets very excited when he sees anyone, and he pees a little. What should I do?
You're gonna have to have him get excited. So you're gonna have him on a leash, make him sit next to you calmly, and make people ignore him until he quits doing it. Never acknowledge a dog when they're acting like that. It only makes it worse. And don't pet them when they do it either.
This person said, my 3-year-old Staffy just attacked the large dog. Wait, where'd it go? Okay. Large dogs like Huskies and Labradors.
Yeah.
But for the last 6 months, he hasn't. Is it possible for him attacking again?
Yeah, it's always possible.
Thank you,
I mean,
Nadia.
Hopefully, if you keep up with your training and you keep an eye, it won't happen again. But yeah, it can always happen again.
This person said, alpha rolling starting age and any tips.
I start it as soon as they start sassing me. I do it in play initially, and then I do it as a discipline when I have to. When they're really young, like Liberty size, I'll hold them like a baby on their back for a timeout
Oh my gosh.
instead of doing the alpha roll.
People are saying good job. We keep another of Preacher's pups. Wait, come on, really? Why keep another one of Preacher's pups who can't breed with an older females instead of getting an unrelated male?
Because my goal is to breed the best dogs I can, and Preacher is a really good dog, and so it's not a problem to me to have multiple dogs off of him, because in the long run, You know, you just never know what an individual dog is going to offer to a program. So it's not an issue for me. And also, just because you have a dog from the line doesn't mean you're pulling from the same genetics. So that's why.
Somebody said, would experience with Danes, Rottweilers, and Dobermans help a first-time Connie Corso owner?
With maybe Dobermans, not Great Danes. I mean, kind of Great Danes, but not really. You'd be better off with more experience with like a German Shepherd or a Rottweiler or a band dog of some kind, French Mastiff. Something that has a wariness of people. That's the thing you're looking for. A potential for aggression with people and a very stubborn demeanor.
Watch them. Go ahead. Just making sure he watches their characters and breeding. You know, what happens if you inbreed dogs?
Depends on how much inbreeding you did. Sometimes nothing, sometimes really good things, sometimes really bad things. It just depends on how closely the dogs are bred, how inbred they are already, meaning what is the percentage of inbreeding in them, even if it's only small, and then what are the traits of the dogs, like why are you inbreeding, those are all things, but it's not always bad. Most breeds are inbred. That's how you get a breed, is by inbreeding it.
How do you help correct a rescued adult dog who wants to be dominant with other dogs and has no manners when it comes to other dogs? But it's fine but it's fine with our dogs, just strangers' dogs in the park.
Hold on. Let me quick her up. Or him up. You also, little bully boy. You sit out.
Also, somebody has been asking a question. What is better, raw food or kibble?
Raw food.
Okay.
Without a doubt.
This person said, like I said earlier, how do you correct a rescued adult dog who wants to be dominant with other dogs and has no manners when it comes to other dogs?
You're going to have to teach them manners. You're going to have to be there one-on-one doing training. It's best to get your obedience down with no distractions first, and then add on the complications of being at a dog park or something like that.
They said they're fine at home just with their dogs, but strangers' dogs there.
Right, yeah. So you're going to have to work on that and correct the aggression or correct the dog before it actually becomes aggression. Timing is everything when it comes to correcting a dog. It's literally one of the most important things. You can do all the right things, but if you don't do them fast enough, then you're just, you're wasting your time. So.
Yeah. All right. I recently found out about about a breed of dog called the Siberian Defense Dog, and was wondering what you might think of them.
I wouldn't get one unless you're planning on seriously working the dog, because that's what they are. A lot of people think that they have working dogs because the breed was once a working dog, but very few breeds actually still contain genuine working traits, and so that's what I would say to that.
How do you train your pup to stay on your yard and not wander off?
Your yard?
Yeah, I say watch your dog.
Yeah, you're gonna have to watch your dog. All right, so this is it.
Because even we have trouble with ours.
Can they see it?
We always eat collars.
Can they see it?
Yes.
So this is a Parmigiano. I probably said that wrong. Asiago cream sauce with what are they? Sun-dried tomatoes and spinach and shiitake mushrooms with grilled chicken and a bit of bacon on top. Yay!
Same-sex aggression. I'm nervous that a male would bully my submissive male, but I've heard female aggression is much worse.
Yeah, female aggression is a lot worse usually. What I will say to that is, like, think about the way that, like, lions are, the way that they have coalitions. I think that there's a lot alike in that males I think that's why, like, even in situations where, like one guy cheats with another guy's wife or whatever, like, why guys are able to, like, get past. It's just this thing that is in guys, and so I think I've seen it in dogs too. So anyway, so yeah, usually male dogs are pretty cool with each other unless it has to do with breeding. Can you hop over to that over there?
Yeah, Connie Corso live in a RV environment. If you aren't outside every day, if they are outside every day.
Yes, I know somebody who keeps one in an RV. I don't know that I would suggest it, but they definitely can. Where's Alex at?
I don't know. I think he's watching the dogs outside right now.
All right.
With me.
Well, it's kind of hard for me to answer questions and eat.
Alex, food's ready.
Do you mind so I can eat and talk instead of eat, talk, and read?
Yeah. Yeah. You eat, then I'll.
And she would come in and roll all in his clothes when he was in the shower. It was the weirdest thing.
She's like, I'll take that sweat exam. Still no luck on finding her, but
Alright,
Alex
we're
saw
back.
her. Right?
No, we're gonna get Blair. She's like totally here.
Not here, but like he said that we totally get her, but we haven't gotten her, so you know.
I haven't seen her.
Don't get your hopes up. It'll be a video if we find her. Or it'll be part of the video, you know, like, hey, by the way, you know, we found her cat.
Are 8 collars or shot collars harmful for training?
Yeah, quit begging.
No, a lot of people use them. They are a proven method. They do work. Do I use them? No, but I'm not gonna like hate on anybody who does. What? I know, yeah. Watch that. You're gonna pull off my.
I'm just trying to get it out
You're
of
gonna
the.
pull my hard drive off.
Oh, I know you. I'm just trying to get it out of the camera. What's your favorite Taylor Swift song? I don't even know if you listen to her.
Can you unplug it so he doesn't? Because he's just.
It's
not.
fine. Check it out.
And your power cord just came in
I
there
know.
too.
I'm good. Thoughts on Shiba Inus?
They're cute, popular right now. As far as I know, they're very independent, but very smart. Definitely a good dog for an apartment.
Your opinion on French Bulldogs?
Cute, but stinky.
Cute. Their breath smells and they fart a lot and they have a lot of health issues.
Well, I'm starting to think that was
But they're really cute.
I think that was...
When we towards the end of the stream, we'll let Seneca out a little bit.
What?
No, we will not.
A little bit. A little bit.
No, not unless you want to see her
They're
get.
asking.
Yeah, if you want to see her get beat up by everybody, sure.
If you want to see the pack and how it really works, like not how it really works, y'all see that on videos, but like...
Seneca is kennelled right now because of her relationship with the pack. She doesn't really have a place here, and this pack is very well established now that she's been gone.
She has an unstable temperament, and the pack will target an unstable temperament. That's why Velocity gets targeted all the time. The difference is that Velocity is always here, so I can monitor it and manage it. Seneca hasn't been, so she's like a stranger in their house, and they don't like it.
They know.
Okay, thank you for the donation, Laura. And her question was, when I go out of the country, considering leaving her 6-year-old Staffy, who's aggressive, at a dog boarding facility, and she's nervous, and she was wondering what your thoughts are on leaving an aggressive dog at a boarding facility while you're leaving the country.
As long as they know that the dog is aggressive, usually they have steps put in place where they won't let the dog out with other dogs and things like that. So, you know, I don't think they would take him if they didn't think they could manage him. But, I mean, you never know. But I would take the time, if you can, to try to work with him before you drop him off to see if you can't help that a little bit.
Kate is a single mom, and she has an 11-year-old daughter. Would you recommend a male pup because they're both female?
Yeah. I would, yeah. I mean, you could do a female dog. It wouldn't be a big deal. It wouldn't matter, but male dogs are more like kind of sweet and cuddly, in my opinion.
Yes, thank you for the donation, Jenny, and the merchandise is through Teespring. I know a lot of you guys have a lot of questions about Seneca, and I know that this is something that will like never end, but just rest assured, guys, nothing is changing with Seneca. Nothing's different. We still co-own her. She is going to be bred if she turns out to be a good dog, and that's the same for any of the. And you know,
Blondie's the same.
don't think that Seneca gets treated differently or anything. She's just a normal dog, just like the rest of these guys.
The reason that Seneca's not here is so that she can have a better life.
Yeah.
Because here, she just was not doing well. She's a super omega, even worse than Velocity. And it just wasn't a good, I mean, there's plenty of people that have even talked about how Velocity doesn't really do well in the pack, and that's true, she really doesn't. And I've heard people even tell me, you know she doesn't do well in a pack, you should just, rehome her. And she will be, as soon as she produces a better version of her, then she will be. Not because I don't like her, but because her temperament is her temperament, and pack life is pack life, and that's just the way it is. Hey, you guys, quit.
Yeah, and you guys just wouldn't get to really see what Seneca's like if you were to see her around these dogs. You'd really just have to see her in, like, walk down the street or at the park or something like that to really see that she's just a normal dog. But when she comes around here, it's just she.
Do not try to defend that dog just because you have her. She's not a normal dog.
She's not a normal dog, but she's different than when she's here. Is what I'm trying to say. Like what you guys see.
The pack.
Yeah,
the pack.
Yeah.
Magnifies a pre-existing problem that's already there, and the thing about it is that you have to ask yourself the question of, would it still be a problem if she lived in a home on her own? And that's what we're testing out to see. So I personally didn't want to breed her. That's why I put her out of my program. But I didn't want to discount her completely because I understand the maturity and things like that can have an effect. So Alex is, he's got her, and we're just going to see what comes from that. So.
Okay.
Hey, Midnight, that was rude.
Okay, so this lady has a toy poodle who is very stubborn and fearful. She worked with her every day, and I'm assuming that she overcame a lot of those problems. And do you think that a Corso would be good for someone who's like that?
Someone who's like what?
Who has dealt with a fearful and very stubborn toy poodle. Or do you think that a Connie Corso is completely different?
Yeah, they're totally different.
I'll switch with you. Go away, Preacher. You can have that. I'm cool.
Okay.
Was she too rough with you, baby girl? Wait,
I need to get it out. No, sit there, because you'll be out of the camera then.
Was she
Otherwise,
too rough with you? Let's see, if not in Houston, can you recommend any breeders in Louisiana?
Yeah, I can't. Unfortunately, I'm not. There's not. There's just not that many. I posted something on my Facebook recently about that, about how that there's just so many few good breeders out there, like good, people with good morals and stuff. So, I'm not gonna say that everybody in Louisiana is bad. Hey, quit! Alex, why? Why? No, why?
I was gonna let her out too.
But why?
I was gonna let her out. She hasn't come back.
Thank you, Jason. For $5.
I figured I would show her to him and then let her go back.
No, not when I'm not watching.
Okay.
I have to maintain.
Wait, did the live just end?
Alex, come on, don't be like that.
Can you check out what the live said? We're good. I think it is, yeah. Great, so you should come out with your own dog line. Comments are kind of not really in there very much.
Midnight, quick size and rope and go lay down.
Whoa!
If we're gonna let her out, I have to let her out.
I got you.
Somebody said if looks could kill.
It's just really tough sometimes. So it's just one of those things where sometimes people don't always know how things are gonna be. They like the thing is if I went and I let her out, then it would be me. I'm the leader. They're not going to attack her because I'm going to be able to tell them to leave her alone. But if he lets her out, it's not the same thing. You know what I mean? And as you saw, they were all trying to jump at her, and it's like it's just, you know, I have not established quite yet. I just haven't had the opportunity to reestablish back in here again. And that's something that I would have to do. I would have to use all my attention so that I can target any dog that's trying to take it too far, so to ensure her safety. And if I can't give her the attention, I can't let her out, you know.
People are like, sorry, Alex. Poor Alex.
I know, poor Alex.
Dude, you guys need to stop being so dramatic.
Alex is very soft.
Alex is not a victim.
Yeah.
Can you recommend any Canadian content?
And I'll be honest with you guys, like, that was a big issue when Alex and I were dating, was Alex doing things wrong, me saying something about it, and then people getting onto me like I'm a horrible person, and then me feeling like I can't say anything to Alex because people are going to judge me. Like, that kind of, I can't exist in that thing. The dogs are me. I do the dogs. I set the rules on that. If anyone doesn't like that, you don't have to watch it. But the way that I run my house, I have to be in control of these dogs 100% of the time, or someone's going to get hurt.
And you guys probably didn't see what happened over there. Like, those dogs were not going to let Seneca come out.
Like, they were ready.
She made the right call telling me to put her back because it just wasn't going to work.
Yeah. I'm the bad guy. My bad.
Yeah.
But I make the decisions that need to be made to ensure the safety of everyone here. And I'm sorry if that upsets anyone, but I'm not going to not do it because the consequences of not doing it are too great.
People are like, preach it. Alex seems to be handling it well. Like, you guys, people are rude and they should keep on having opinions on your relationship.
If you guys think you want to... Every time people felt sorry for him, it put unbelievable stress on our already stressed relationship. So it was never a good idea to do that. Demonizing a person in a relationship doesn't make that relationship better.
Where's the...
Good for you. Your wife and I think you're the most transparent breeders on YouTube. Never really any questions. Why is she explaining why? You're fine, girl. Tell him you're not that bad. Guys, rough. Okay, yeah. Is it true that male dogs are most protective of female owners and vice versa?
I would say so, yeah. I mean, any dog is going to protect their owner, but I do think that male dogs tend to be more protective of men than, of women and vice versa. Mostly because they kind of interpret that as you being their significant other.
Somebody asked what's for dessert. Really, I think we ate dessert before we ate dinner.
Yeah, we did.
Because I am full and I already have some cookies.
We were all full going into dinner.
Yeah, what's up? Seriously, where's the cookies? I didn't even get a cookie.
Dude, how can you even eat a cookie right now?
I've always got room for dessert.
Yeah, but what are these cookies? These are like 6 cookies in one.
Savannah, I need
It's a
some
Texas
coffee.
It's a cookie pie.
Dude, I'm not making my coffee right now.
Yeah, they've been saying.
I know, they're all like, coffee!
Yeah.
That's a thing now.
Yeah,
That's
they're like you
They're her
do.
minions.
You do realize when you're finished cooking dinner,
This
you're
is
gonna have
the
to
pro-
make your coffee.
This is the process. We answer questions, we eat dinner, we eat dessert, and then we wind down with a nice cup of coffee.
No.
Where's my coffee, bruh?
Then you'll Jesus.
You have to say it like 20 times before she actually makes
I
it.
know. Seriously, it's like a process.
Guys, can y'all quit spamming the comments? with coffee, okay? She's got her cookies, she's got her tea. Leave her alone, leave me alone.
Just remember, guys, it takes 20 coffee comments to get her to do anything.
And one, let me say this, all it takes is $1.
These are so good, you guys.
All it takes is $1 to...
Are you trying to blackmail or not even blackmail? Are you trying to bribe them? What is this? What is that?
to make her coffee.
Is that blackmail?
I think it
It's
is.
so good. These cookies are probably some of the best cookies I've ever had.
They're good.
They're so soft.
And they're gluten free. Who did that?
Me.
What magic has gone into that
Me.
flour?
Love.
Oh, so good.
Midnight, no.
Dude, Midnight and jumping on people, man.
Huh?
Midnight and jumping on you.
Dude, look
Yeah.
what she did to me already.
Yeah.
Ooh, mine.
Yeah.
Maybe
The mark
Thank
of the
you, Shay.
beast.
Savannah, you're the bestest. Pretty please make your now.
Shay, you can take the $5 and make you better go make your coffee.
Canadian
Yeah, she just got $5.
Let's get Canadian.
Savannah, Canadian money is real money. Now go make my coffee.
No, she was manipulating me. She was like, Savannah, you're amazing. Make your mom some coffee.
You are.
You don't get to fight me.
Savannah,
No.
are you serious right now, bro?
Watch the
Dude,
camera.
seriously, Savannah, you have to make coffee now.
Yeah.
You
You
have
have
to
to.
make your face now.
Oh God. I can't even finish that cookie.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. I don't know why you even thought you could finish.
Look at that. That's my cookie.
It's like the best.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like a breakfast cookie almost.
I need you to clean your cup though.
I just told you to do dishes. How could I need to clean a cup?
Because you're the only thing that's not clean is your coffee cup.
Sounds like you did it.
Thank you, Olya, for $2. Olya, how do you say that? Olya.
Oh yeah.
Olya. I'm crying now.
Let's see. I'll answer questions.
I shall get on to Readers in Maryland. Reese, right?
Reese.
She says Maryland.
Reese Justice.
Reese Justice. Her name says it all.
What is Valencia. Connie Corso.
Valencia. Connie Corso.
Oh God. This person, jeez.
Watch me now. You watch the camera.
There's some angry lady.
Like that.
There's some angry lady in here.
Hey.
Where did it go? There it is. That.
There were such weird comments that I had to ban people
Yeah,
for.
dude, the
Oh my gosh.
POOP, dude.
Yeah, that was.
Sounds like something you would say.
No, that's that was nothing compared.
Oh.
There were like, Savannah, there were like pedophiles on there talking about you.
That's weird.
What?
Mm-hmm. We banned them though.
Banned. Blocked and reported.
Yeah, everyone said they reported them too.
FBI is coming for you.
Come on, man. Sometimes I don't like my computer very much.
It's some things. No, wait, that was I gotta find your
I'm
coffee.
looking for bad people.
Velocity.
This got oil in it. That was not how you say that sentence. This has oil in it. I'm switching that out for a
Boyfriend is a mailman. He encounters dogs regularly. He wants to know what's the best way to deal with an aggressive dog on the loose. It depends on how the dog is acting. If the dog is like kind of trying to come at you, I will run at a dog. Like if a dog thinks it's gonna take me down, you got another thing coming. I'm gonna go down fighting. So I see, like one time I was walking up, came running from up the street at me, and I hollered at them, told them to quit, and they didn't. And so I just literally just started running at them full blast, like just screaming and hollering, waving my hands, and they turned around and hightailed it in the other direction. So that's what I would do. I would not, I would make sure you look around for something, look for a rock, look for a stick, something like that, but a good offense is often the best defense. If the dog isn't really coming at him, and he could just stop by kind of looking at the dog and telling him go home, go home. Sometimes it helps not to make a lot of eye contact, not to be threatening, but other times you don't want to come off weak either if the dog's gonna attack anyway. So
We had a dog chase us one time. Remember that?
you really have to kind of assess the the situation. But in more often than not, a good offense is the best defense.
Mama,
What, Savannah?
do you remember the dog that started? I think he was
Cornelius. I did not end up getting my Old English Bulldog. The breeder that I was supposed to get the dog from backed out on the deal again. I'm glad that she at least paid me back my money, but not. All I can say is I've had very few other experiences that were as bad as hers. So I would stay away from her.
From her.
So yeah.
I don't even know if you guys know who her is. Ooh, Mama.
So with the Dogo, yes, they do have some blindness, some deafness, but if you most of the breeders should be testing their dogs before they sell them. I think these are coffee.
Are they?
Yeah.
Well, you haven't written any of them when you bought them.
You picked that one up?
Yeah, you haven't.
No, I got these for free.
What?
Yeah.
Preacher, no thank you.
Yeah. See, 10 capsules of roast and ground coffee.
With an espresso system.
Yeah, it's coffee.
You don't like just coffee?
I like
not real
espresso.
Savannah.
Truth be told, guys, she doesn't drink coffee. She drinks espresso. So if you want me to make an espresso.
Court, do I have a lot of problems with breeders? Yes, I do. There's a lot of really crappy breeders out there. Like, for example, that breeder. First of all, I don't know why I can hear this. Thank you, Jess. I used. I'm embarrassed to say this, but I used Natasha Denona today.
It's a very expensive.
Yeah. So that particular breeder, she literally wouldn't give me the dog that she owed me because of a rumor. Then she found out the rumor wasn't true, like a year later, said she was going to do right, apologized, and still went back on it. So sometimes you just can't help people. All right, so is it possible to have both a protection dog and a friendly family dog all in one? Yes, Preacher is that way, 100%. He's a great dog, but also very protective. Yeah, I know, I'm telling you, she's doing it. Thank you, Oya. So his next show date should be February 9th and 10th in Austin, actually. Canadian breeders, I don't know of any. To get a dog-fearing dog to be calm and not yelp as though her pelt is on fire when another dog sniffs her is to take her by the leash and just make her kind of sit and be calm, and then take her maybe to a dog park and just make her lay down and just be or just sit there in her own skin around a bunch of other dogs. If she yelps or whatever, just correct her with the leash. Hold the leash, to where she can't jump around to get around. Thank you, 50 music for me, 50s music for me.
For coffee.
And then, and just so she can't get away, just so she can't freak out. If she gets a squeal, whatever, you just correct her with the leash, put her back down at a sit, and make her be calm again. Just restart over again. She makes a mistake, that's fine. It's kind of like how they say you get back on the horse. Well, put her back up on it, and just start again. So, gluten-free too, and do peanut butter cookies, but need coffee. Yes.
Peanut butter cookies.
Yes. Very much so. These cookies.
I want to make chocolate cake.
Very nice. The flour that we use is gluten-free, but it's so good.
It tastes like real.
Thoughts on Frenchies? I love Frenchies, but they annoy me because they still act like small dogs. Preacher will not go back to the same handler. I'm going to handle him myself. I'm going to start showing myself. So, yeah.
No.
I am Mastiff, superhuman, and dog aggressive. He's very big. So, yeah, you're just going to have to, you're really just going to have to work with him. As I was saying, you always want to correct before you do anything. You want to correct or before the dog does anything. So you don't want to wait until the dog has already growled or already gotten aggressive. You want to do it like right whenever you notice that the dog might get that way or is starting to get that way. That's when you correct. Don't let them do anything wrong. You know, try to correct it before it gets there. Do you think Cashmere will do when Velocity has her first litter? Nothing. She'll be fine. Preacher, get off of him now.
Somebody asked if I'll take in for culinary arts.
Preacher will be 3 years old next month. Any good breeders in Florida? Not that I'm aware of. Yeah, I am. Akita, definitely am. I'm going to take some handler courses, and I'm going to start doing it, and I'm even going to offer it as a service. Quit! I'm going to offer to show other people's dogs, and even, hey, what'd I say? Velocity. Don't let her do that. Don't let her lick at their face.
She's a puppy.
Any licking at their faces has to be corrected. So anyway, yeah, I'm very excited about it. There was no issue with the handler. She's a great handler. I just want to do it on my own. I feel like it's something that I could learn to do. Now that Preacher already kind of knows how to do it, I feel like he would kind of enable me to just kind of jump in there and not have it be so hard since he already knows what to do. So, no, they won't always listen to anyone, but they do know Alex. So, the name of the breeder in Maryland, it's actually Virginia, but that's very close to Maryland, might as well be, in Maryland as far as Texans are concerned. And it's Valencia Connie Corso. Highly recommended. So, yes, I will rehome Velocity after breeding her. She will be much happier in a one-person or one-dog home, or even on her own. She is not really good at living in pack life. Am I good at cooking? I don't know. I guess that depends on.
She is. She's very good at cooking, and so am I.
I thought it was good.
Pen hip is good. You want to do like OFA on the heart. Those are the kinds of things that I would check. So, let me see here. Winston, the Pit Corso mix. I don't know anything about Winston.
Midnight, you're just like your father.
How do I stop my bully from grabbing other dogs' necks while playing?
Whoa.
Discipline him when he does it. That's really the only thing you can do.
Cashmere, away from the cage.
Can Cashmere ever be thrown out the alpha position without fighting?
I doubt it.
When she gets old enough to not care anymore, she would relinquish it on her own, willingly, but she's not, so she's not going to. Let me see. I'm back. Howdy, y'all. Hey there, Christina. Looking at their page. Yes, the Fermentino is Liberty's mom. Her name is Katana. Very beautiful. She's a champion. So,
Alex, quit touching.
see here.
Don't touch them.
I need to watch Winston's channel.
Who's Winston?
I can definitely check it out. Winston is a riot.
Mama, I think you should start a series called "What Do You Think?" Since all these people ask you. What
Yeah,
do
I
you
told
think of
her
this
she
breed,
needs to be doing.
like this breed of
She
dog.
needs to be doing like reaction videos.
Yes, I want to move to Tennessee.
Dude,
I want to
we
move.
bought that today. That is for her coffee. It's for her coffee.
Did you see any milk?
Dude, it's for her
That
coffee.
chicken's going bad.
What are you talking about? Coffee? What are you in New Yorker now?
Coffee. It's for her coffee.
Thank you, Sarah. I appreciate it. I do believe that. What is the difference in temperament of blue Connie Corso's regular? No difference in temperament off color. Nope. Would y'all get an adult dog and bring it into your pack or only puppies? No, I'll only bring puppies into my pack. I could do it, but I don't want to.
Too much work.
Yeah, it's too much work, and this is already a lot of work, so there's no point adding. Landon!
You want me to pick her up?
No, she's alright.
No, she's gonna make more noise with us though, because us is a butt.
Yeah, they're crazy.
Landon, I see you, girl. What you doing on my couch?
Did she get up to herself?
Yep.
Alright, let me see here.
You want me to do comments for you?
No. I will in a minute after I'm done with my coffee.
Wow.
Ooh. Mhm.
Whoa!
I'm okay with small dogs, but I mean, not really too fond of them, to be perfectly honest. I will only have 11 dogs in my program tops at any one given time until I move.
What's breeding dogs really?
How's Bishop? I think he's doing well. I haven't really heard from his owners in a while, but they do post pictures, so he seems to be doing pretty well. No, I never got my cat back, unfortunately.
She still lives here.
Speaking of that, can you check on the
He
cat?
says that
He
I
said
see
that
her all the time.
he was working on the yard.
he could be hallucinating.
No, she hangs out with me whenever I work outside.
No, he
I don't
kinda
know of
gets
any breeders in Washington State, unfortunately. I did get Cashmere from Washington State, but she wasn't owned by a breeder. She was a co-own. We already did the cooking dance, Fan Raoul. We cooked earlier. English Springer Spaniels. I think they're really pretty. I don't know anything about Tennessee. Her owners and breeders don't like me, so we don't talk. Any updates on how Chinchilla? Yes, I got a video. I got tagged in a video of Chinchilla, and he's doing really great in his training. And so yeah, so very, very cool.
Has the football player gotten to meet him yet?
Probably not going to show Cashmere. See here.
Coffee's almost ready. Everybody get hype.
He does need an Instagram. Any good breeders in Florida? Not that I'm aware of. But I just don't know any. So that's awesome. Glad to be here for you, Sweeanne. If I haven't owned a dog yet, grew up with them, understand them, could I handle a Connie Corso? Maybe. It just depends. If you really are a natural, then probably, yeah.
Give her kisses, Alex.
Where's Alex? He's over there making out with Liberty.
Not like we're making out.
Sorry, I'm just messing.
I was like, God.
Don't take me seriously.
Bestiality.
Right.
No offense to people.
I live on the Tennessee, North Carolina. It's freaking awesome here. Yes, I know it's awesome. I've driven through there.
It is so pretty.
I want to live around Pigeon Forge. That's where I want to be.
So pretty.
I already told them all that.
I just want to go and literally hike. I just
we
want to
have a
hike
video.
so far.
I'm not a hiker, but I
Just
love
get out there and hike with all my dogs.
The scenery.
Right? Like back in the day when there were no rules and you could just go out with horses and just hike as far as you wanted and nobody would tell you, you can't be hiking out here, the park is closed.
It's the best scenery you will ever
Right.
see. I mean, if you're
Do I
in
ship to
Chicago,
California, and if so, how much does that cost? It depends on the method. If you use a ground shipper, it's usually cheaper. If you use thank you, Hannah. If you use a flight nanny, it's more expensive. The price can be anywhere from $650 all the way down to like $400. So it's just something to think about. I've even thought about, I drive so much and I do so much. I was even thinking about starting to maybe transport my puppies as well. So I don't know, we'll see. But yeah. Will I breed Liberty to Preacher? Probably yes. I'll probably try her also at one point and just to see. Bro.
Y'all see that?
Bro.
Y'all see that?
Bro.
No, y'all can't see that. Hold on. I'll make sure y'all guys can see. Hold on. You guys gonna see that? You see that? That is.
Did you make an art?
No, I can't yet. I may be an artist, but I'm not an artist.
An arter?
They couldn't even see it correctly. An art.
It might be an art, but I'm not an artery.
Wait, where's the
I need the sugar. I cannot check up on Tennessee because the people that have her utterly despise me.
Despise. They're like,
Despacito
My
3.
favorite Taylor Swift song.
They keep asking that.
I don't even know who Taylor Swift is.
oh, I used to be a huge fan of her when I was little. Like whenever I don't like her
it
now.
probably would be cheaper, Christina. Honestly, that's what I do. I drive and pick up all my dogs. So, but I'm crazy like that. So I actually love to drive.
Please stop
I
talking
love
about
the road
Tennessee.
trip. So, Yes, Savannah. After you make your dog submit and when they get up, can you give them affection? No, I wouldn't. I would play hard to get a little bit if you want to make sure that it actually is effective.
Somebody asked, do you sleep?
Do I sleep?
It's 9:30 right now. It's early.
Yeah, I totally do.
It's a Friday night, and she wakes up kind of early.
Yeah, I'm a big sleeper. I love to
early.
sleep.
What's kind of early again?
Dude, why is everybody asking about Taylor Swift? Okay. I'll tell you a popular opinion about Taylor Swift. I used to like her. She sang country songs and everything, but now she's like like how Miley Cyrus used to be. She's going through that phase right now. So somebody donated $9.99. Thank you, Matthew.
No, thank you, Matthew. Buying Great Danes soon and very excited. Anything I should look out for? Get your leash training done very early with Great Danes. They get big fast, and you want to have complete control. They can also be a little spooky. So like when you're when you're walking on a sidewalk and maybe a car comes by, a Great Dane is the kind of dog that would like rear up like a horse. So just like
they're a lot like a horse.
Yeah, they act like horses is the weirdest thing. They rear up. So just get your obedience done quick and early. Lots of socialization because you don't want that dog freaking out on you because they're hard to control because they're so big.
Also, don't put your head near theirs because if they buck their head up, their forehead hits
Yeah.
your nose. I got my first bloody nose ever from a Great Dane putting full force bringing their head up on my nose and me getting like a full blast like nosebleed.
Yep.
It's horrible.
So if you do early training, it's not a problem. But if you don't train them on time and you wait till they're bigger and older, it can be harder to train them. So that's the only reason I say that. Yes, and watch for bloat. Very big deal. I want to say the statistics are like 50% of all Great Danes die of bloat. From what I've heard, feeding a raw diet prevents bloat. I've heard that. I can't guarantee it,
don't feed them
but that's what I've heard, and I actually believe that. I think there's a lot of evidence to support it. I've seen what dog food does. It does cause some gas and bloating and things like that. You also want to make sure that if you neuter him or spay him, that you go ahead and just have the stomach tacked at the same time. That way you don't have to worry about torsion, which is where the stomach actually flips and it can kill them very, very quickly. And then do not raise your food bowl. A lot of people will tell you that. That is a internet rumor that ended up being false. There is actual science behind it. Raising the food bowl increases the chances of bloat, not decrease. So keep that in mind. Oh yeah, what about a dog being scared aggressive? So fear aggression is one of the hardest things to get rid of in a dog. Oftentimes it's genetic. The most that you can hope for is to just go out and socialize and train and to try to just kind of, get them over it through exposure and through not letting them act out. So prevent any signs of aggression, prevent any signs of or any action of aggression, any action of fear. Don't let them avoid things. Don't let them hide. Don't pet them when they're being that way, but just kind of force them to be out and about with it and then let it be.
I can read them for you.
Go ahead.
I need something to do. I get bored fast.
That's so good. Thank you.
I want to get a first pick female from a breeder, but the breeder has expressed that they don't want the dog in a breeding program and said that I can only get her, wait, what does it say? I can only get her if I let her be bred, your opinion. Wait, what? I don't care what that just said. I want to get a first pick female from a breeder, but the breeder has expressed that they want the dog in their breeding program and said that I can only get her if I let her be bred, your opinion.
So that's basically, it looks like what they're asking for is a co-own, meaning that they let you have the dog. Usually there's different agreements of how that works out, but you get the dog, they retain breeding rights on the dog. That's how I got Cashmere. Her mother was a co-own. More often than not, they don't work out. Issues between the people, things like that. So easier for it. You really want to make sure that if you're going to do a co-own, that you have a very, very specific contract and that you both know exactly what you are requiring from one another and what you are obligated to do and not do, what you're obligated to pay for and not pay for, things like that. So it's not unheard of for that, but it is not always ideal, because even though you have the dog and you think you own it, you don't technically own the whole dog.
How is that raw sugar?
Oh, it's really good.
You're like, look inside, you're like,
Very good. I like it.
while your dogs play, do people think they're fighting? The only one is the main compliment, or the one of the main compliments. Are you trying to?
Are there pecans in there?
Yeah.
So good. Best cookies ever.
Those really were.
Videos lagging, freeze.
We should probably end it. It's really late. I'm getting tired.
You're getting tired.
I don't know if it was those cookies or what, but I'm like so tired after I ate.
Just too much food.
Yeah.
11 dislikes.
Dude, there's no way that I'm...
I think she always gets 11 dislikes on everything. Hey, Rick.
Sometimes 12.
Somebody
Yeah.
says, why does Cashmere
But that's it. There's
Never
only
mind,
12
I'm not even
haters.
Just tell for review anyways.
It's like your straight
Bro,
haters
asking
club.
why her.
Use your fork. Alright. If it didn't come back up, we
I think
should
it
just
did.
end it.
Hey, did it come back? Everybody?
Oh, God.
Preacher.
Oh, you're lucky. You're lucky we missed that, boy. Skeet him, preacher. Skeet him, preacher. Skeet him.
Get him. Preacher, go get him.
Skeet him, preacher. Let's go get him. You get him, preacher.
Oh, no. Yeah, Velocity
$10
definitely
from
the Omega.
Teresa.
That's so
Thank you.
fun. Thank you, Teresa. Preacher, did you get him?
That's my middle name.
Did you get him? Did you get him, preacher?
Thanks.
Did you get him? You get him, preacher. He's watching you.
Dude, he's been getting me. He's done.
Preacher! Skeet him. Cashmere! He's gonna get you. Skeet him, preacher! Skeet him, preacher! That's funny.
Hey, midnight.
Get her.
No. No.
It's so late. Not late like time-wise, but it's like so delayed.
Oh,
We
is
see
it?
Yeah, because right now they're just seeing the preacher started to get in. Like right when you turn the camera.
Cashmere, stop. All of you go. Now, get out of my kitchen. Go.
What is the most uncommon color?
Formentino, I think.
So wait.
No midnight.
I'm back, lol. Love the channel.
Velocity's
What
like the
made
queen
you
of eating
Connie
plastic.
Corsos instead of American? What made you go with Connie Corsos instead of the African Morkel? Also, is it true that they're not
Athleticism.
dog friendly and extremely territorial?
Athleticism is why I got the Connie Corso over the South African Mastiff. And the breeders of the South African Mastiff, you either have the bully breeders, they're not bully breeders, but they're breeding they're breeding mixes of Connie Corso and South African Mastiffs. You have those guys, and they're crappy. And then you have the people that are like diehard South African Mastiff breeders, and they won't sell to like basically anyone else. Like they have their dogs, and you have so the gene pool is super duper small. And after I realized that common sense wasn't going to prevail, I just decided it wasn't worth it. I was this close to having a South African Borgel.
Other than Corsos, what's your favorite dog breed?
My second favorite breed. I don't know.
What would happen if somebody stole all of your dogs? Would you start with? That's an unrealistic question because
I would probably explode in anger and the world would die in an inferno of fire and death and hell.
she would raise every bad thing. Like
Yeah.
she would raise the dead.
I
She
would literally be like some anime character that would just like power up and like destroy the world out of pure anger.
Thoughts on Scottish Terriers?
I'm not familiar with Scottish Terriers other than like, I mean, they're not very common. I don't think I've seen one in years. They were more common back in the 80s, early 90s, but gosh, I haven't seen one in forever.
Really rich people have those dogs?
Can you do coconut flour?
I haven't even seen a rich person with one in a long time.
Wait, what's your favorite anime?
Back whenever Lady and the Tramp was big, but other than that,
What's
you
your
don't see
favorite?
them anymore.
What's your favorite anime? It's
Bleach.
Ew.
You want to know who my favorite person is in Bleach? Kenpachi Zaraki.
She has a crush on him.
Kenpachi. He's awesome. He's the best.
She has a crush on him.
He's hot. Big, tough man with a soft spot.
Is that what you wanted him
Because he's
to
got the little girl. He's so sweet.
Well, thank you, Teresa, again.
And he's
for
like
$2.
awesome. Thank you, Tris. He's seriously, Kenpachi is so powerful that nobody really knows how powerful he is. He laughs when he fights. He gets pure joy and love out of destroying his competition.
Skitty kitten, train in over defensive after being attacked. Train out over defensive after being attacked.
Yeah, you're just
How do you
gonna,
train out over defensiveness
Yeah.
after being attacked by a
yeah,
dog?
you're just gonna have to take him around other dogs and make him face his fears.
Is Preacher abnormally large, or is he a typical size male?
He is the standard size. He's not the biggest. He's not the smallest. He's a good size, but definitely not as big as they get by any stretch of the imagination.
Do your customers have the right to breed?
No,
No.
not unless I say so.
Is Preacher still growing? Will he get larger?
No, he'll be full grown in the next probably 6 months. And then
She's going super sane.
Super Saiyan.
Do you watch Nailed It, Savannah? I have watched it. It's not my favorite baking show. My favorite baking show and Mom's favorite baking
Yep.
show.
Is the
Great British
Baking
Show!
we love it.
Am I rude when I tell people if you don't control your kids, I'm not going to control my dog? I always get yelled at by the parents. Well, if you have a kid that's being disrespectful to, if the dog's not doing anything wrong,
Hey!
Really?
Blondie.
Not you. I am sick of it. You better stop it now.
can you get on the ball?
Understand me?
Get on the ball.
You stop it now.
Wait.
Quit.
Now.
Cashmere, get out of it now. I don't need your help. Go away. Go.
Any cool places to visit in
Quit.
Texas while you're there? In March? Alex, does it get hot
I
in
better
March?
not hear anything
Where?
out of you.
Does it get hot in March here?
It starts to get hot in March.
Okay, so they're asking like cool place to go. Could I recommend like Barton Springs?
Barton Creek.
Barton Creek, Barton Springs.
Quit.
That's a good place to go, Barton Springs, Barton Creek. Downtown.
Oh, New Braunfels.
New Braunfels. But they said Austin. I think.
No, you get. Now.
Well, visiting Texas.
Go.
So yeah, New Braunfels is pretty cool.
San Marcos.
What's some places you would recommend in Texas? Somebody said they're visiting
San Marcos.
Texas in March when it starts to get hot.
What is it, the Rio?
Oh yeah, the Frio.
Frio
But that's way
River.
out in the middle of nowhere.
That's real pretty though.
That's 3 hours out in the middle of nowhere.
I guess you're right, but it sure
But
is
it
a
sure
one
is
of a
worth
kind.
it, yeah.
It's a one of a kind experience.
Beautiful.
Oh, yeah. It's like going to the Bahamas but in Texas.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Do dogs go into standing heat?
Standing heat. What?
Standing heat. Do dogs go into standing heat?
I don't know. What's up with your sweater?
That's when Blondie jumped on me a while ago. I washed it a couple times, but I can try to wash it some more, but I don't know how to get that out.
You need to use that shout spray. The stain remover stuff.
Rachel reminds me of Wonder Woman.
Yeah. A alternate universe Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
And
But
she
like
has
a
like
dog
a pack of dogs to attack people with too.
You should watch
You know what
those.
I would say to that though is that if I ever if there was ever like a zombie land kind of thing or whatever, like it would be me and my like pack of
It would
dogs
be that road. What is that?
against
like,
like everyone.
What's that Thunderdome or whatever? What was that movie?
I don't
It
know.
just came out recently again.
I don't know. We don't watch really new
Road
movies.
Warrior or
The
whatever.
newest movie we watched recently is Bird Box, and that was
How do
pretty
you
cool.
get? You have it on DVD.
You know, she stopped watching Bird Box
Yeah, Bird
the
Box
minute
is so nice.
she knew that dude was going to die.
Yeah, that's funny.
You were like, I'm gonna go in my room now.
The big dude
Where are your DVDs at?
at the end of the movie. You're like, he's gonna die soon.
DVD?
So I'm gonna go in my room now. Then Bird Box.
I don't remember any of that. I blocked it from my memory.
Bird Box. It was a good movie. I would say it's good. I like it.
I don't remember
It was
anything
a good
about
plot
it.
twist in the end. You didn't watch the end. Like I said, you left before the boyfriend of the woman, was about to die. The big dude.
I don't like it when people die.
Yeah, especially guys that you. Oh, she's also obsessed with Jason.
Oh, the hot guy! Yeah, that guy! Yeah, I didn't want him to die. He was hot. And he stepped up and protected the family. I was like, why's he gotta die? I'm not gonna watch that.
He protected the family.
Not gonna participate in
he
viewing
died.
his death.
He died protecting the family.
Yeah,
I'll say
you'd be
that.
like Mad Max.
Yeah.
I'd be
Like
like,
riding,
yeah,
like riding your in the desert, like riding your
Yeah.
4-wheeler with
Yeah.
dogs running behind you.
Straight up. Like, I wouldn't see nobody. It would just be me and my dogs. Be like, watch out for that dog lady, man. She's crazy.
She's also obsessed with Jason.
And then there would be like 2 cats off in the distance.
my two little ninja cats. Yes, that would be so epic.
And then you really like Jason Momoa.
Yeah, Jason Momoa is God's gift
God's
to
gift.
humankind.
You know, apparently that like everybody said that he was like that's like a scientifically proven. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's
He's a god.
he is just man, oh man, oh man. That's all I can say.
Yeah, they're like only 2.2% of all women are not attracted to Jason.
Yes, exactly.
There's like some
There's
statistic.
some science
Yeah,
on
there's
it,
like
yeah.
some science on it or something like that.
Somebody said Jason, yummy.
Mhm.
$9.99. Thank you for doing a family
Thank
friendly. But great podcast. You're classy.
Thank you.
What's crazier than a crazy dog lady? A crazy cat lady.
Yeah, that's true. That's an easy question.
$1.99.
No, actually, a crazy cat and dog lady.
I don't know if those exist.
That's
me.
her. That's me, man. What are you talking
I'm
about?
talking about like a cat hoarder and dog hoarder.
No, I'm not. a
Let's
hoarder.
go into
I'm not a hoarder.
Do they stand for a male?
Yes, they do stand.
They
yeah,
get $1.99. Thank you, Fancy
Yes,
Go 63.
they stand and they put their tail to the side. It's called flagging.
Yeah, because it helps with,
Yes, but they do stand. 100%.
They said I think a bunch of straight dudes are attracted to Jason Momoa.
Yeah, exactly, dude. Ain't nobody.
I'm a straight dude and I'm not. So.
Don't lie.
You're
Don't
jealous. You might be
No.
jealous.
lie.
I am probably.
Don't lie. Yeah.
Dude, you can't have all the women.
It's
You
not-
can't just take all the women
Yes,
from
you can.
everyone else.
Yes, you could. Women would like willingly sign up to
Yeah,
be like
sign
to
a
be one of
contract
his-
to just be
to be
his.
one of his side wives.
just to be
Seriously,
his.
He could have a harem, and the women would like be so happy.
He's like the next R. Kelly. Dude.
That's what I'm
He's
saying.
gonna have a whole house
It's
full of
horrible.
women.
Don't say that.
He is.
Family friendly. Family friendly.
You stop lying to get out of here, Alex.
Oh, yeah.
Horse
Yeah.
people are psycho, they said.
Yeah.
Arizona.
Yeah. So and honestly, any like people that are big enough into animals to actually join like communities or groups are oftentimes like not always the most stable people. Like that's all I can say.
Somebody said
So I've done fish and there were just as many crazy people there. I know plenty of people in horses, just as many crazy people there. Every breed of dog I've been into has their version of crazy people. Cat people as well. And it's just animal people in general, man.
somebody said, did you drink coffee with liquor?
No,
because
hell no.
because you're all like laughing and stuff and you're laughing.
No.
Savannah, do you start taking over your mother's job?
I don't drink.
She does not drink. And do I see myself taking my mother's job? It is very stressful. My answer right now is I don't know.
I'm gonna
I don't
try.
do well with stress.
Yeah, she's gonna start handling dogs with us. And actually, a lot of people don't know this, but you can make quite a bit of money handling dogs for other people. So I'm gonna get her into it, and then maybe she can have a career in dogs, or maybe she can handle dogs. I don't know, but at least she'll have some skills and she can do what she wants with them.
I know the camera's like too.
Have you
Just fix it.
How do you
Sorry, I
stop a
just
dog
got
fight? Finger.
Do you need to? Do you need?
I don't know. A lot of people are saying that. Everybody's saying.
Oh,
finger
stick
in
your
the-
finger in the butt. Yeah, no,
What?
yeah. For dogs fighting, I've never done that.
Where are the
People-
YouTube videos saying that?
People talk about that. I've never
I wanna see.
ever tried it. We'll never try it.
Yeah.
The best thing you can do is just try to separate them. But
Seriously, who's
that's
going
not-
around YouTube doing that?
That's not.
Just
That's
sticking
not
their
good.
fingers
I don't think
in
that will
dogs'
work.
butts.
I don't think that will.
Thank
Here.
you, Phantom Go 63. How do you know if your dog is pregnant? Because I took my dog to my uncle's male's dog, and I need to know signs if she is.
So the signs that she is that the I had another word for milkers that I felt was better. Bobs.
Pop.
Bobs. Dude, bobs.
What?
Show me your bobs.
I don't get it.
Don't you remember that? You don't watch enough PewDiePie.
Yeah.
I thought you watched PewDiePie.
Yeah, I thought you watched PewDiePie.
I don't really.
Bro, you're not a real follower.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Bobs.
the bobs will be bigger and more swollen, and the vulva will not decrease in size. It will stay bigger. It won't be as big as it was initially, but it won't go all the way down.
That's what that lyric was in his in
Yeah,
his song.
show me your bobs.
No,
yeah.
it's like no, he made the lyric in a song Bob's or Vagina.
Yeah.
I was like,
Oh yeah, there was a song. That's
I
right.
told
yeah.
you, bobs. Yeah.
B or lasagna, you know,
Yeah.
or lasagna.
Yeah. See, you guys aren't real fans.
No, I am. I just didn't.
Dude, that was
get
like a
it.
year. It was like over a year.
No,
ago.
it was
Yeah.
literally just
Bob's
in the
or-
rewind. His rewind.
I'm so impressed with Savannah's maturity. She'll be great whatever she chooses to do.
Aww.
I'm gonna do.
Are you gonna say thank you?
Thank
for that?
you.
Thank you
Blondie's a fawn.
for complimenting
Blondie's a
my parenting skills.
What if I decided to mature on my own time?
Oh my God, Savannah, you would be a mess if it wasn't for me. Shoot, you would have been kidnapped if it wasn't for me.
What do you think of Las Vegas?
Mm.
Mom, you were born there.
I was born in Las Vegas,
Nevada.
Nevada. And, well, that's the only Las
Oh.
Vegas that I'm aware of.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
The vagina gets small. Somebody said
Yeah.
vagina.
Yeah, the vagina gets swollen.
Jesse was asking about am I rude when I tell people if you don't control your kids, I'm not going to control my dog?
Only if you're prepared to have your dog be put to sleep over it. Because the truth of the matter is, there's no law to discipline a person for letting their kid disrespect your dog. But there are laws against your dog biting that kid, even if the kid is technically in the wrong. It's your word against their word, and if you want to take that risk, you can. But sometimes it's one of those things where you have to just take the high road and do what's necessary, and that means protecting your dog's life. So you're just going to have to walk away. That's what I do. If, you could tell the person, like, hey, control your kids. Like, why don't you teach your kids some manners? You could do stuff like that. But ultimately, if it was me and I saw that, I would give the parent a very unimpressed look and walk away. Straight up. That would be me. I would make it clear that I was unhappy with their parenting skills in a way that is obvious enough to make the point across, but not rude enough to make them defensive. And then I would leave so that they understand that, they need to take it seriously.
The video when you were outside the new house and Savannah broke something and you're like, I'm not going to give her the time to hide it.
Yeah.
When was this?
Yeah. I was outside doing something, you broke something. Hey,
What, I broke something?
Oh yeah, you heard it. You ran back
Yeah,
inside.
I was like, oh, well,
Oh.
yeah. I forget what it was, but yeah.
Ouch, FXR, Mama, could you please repeat your question? I didn't look. I went up to the last thing and I couldn't find your comment, so, you could repeat your question. I see lots of children hurting service dogs.
Grabbing on them and stuff.
Well, don't let your child. If you're letting your kid touch a service dog, you don't have control over your kid. And you should.
Yeah, people who
You need to treat your kid respect.
You should move to the
No.
living room so they can see the dogs.
No.
people that let their kids touch service dogs oftentimes just don't know what the rules are, because if they knew it was illegal, they would probably not do it. What I would do is, if I had a service dog that was with me at all times, I would have cards written that basically state the law and just say, very nicely and politely, hey, please don't touch my dog. It's actually, he's a working dog. If you'd like some information, I have a little card here where you can read about it, and you can hand them that, and try to do it that way. So that's what I would do.
Yeah, everyone says fan meetups when you travel.
Yeah, definitely. Would like to do that
Although
for sure.
apparently it's illegal.
She doesn't go to the West Coast very much, but East Coast she always goes.
Apparently it's illegal to do meetups that aren't planned like by a convention or something.
I don't think that she's gonna be like Jake Paul and shut down anything.
Are you
No,
serious?
but like there's
It's
like
illegal?
Instagram stars that like weren't even that big that was like, let's do a meetup, and then like 10 people came. They were like, what are you doing with like 10 people? Like,
It's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I
If you see her in public and you recognize her, don't be afraid to come up and
if you see me, don't be afraid to come up and say hi. Just understand that I am a quiet and somewhat socially awkward person. Like I'm pretty awkward. So just be prepared for that, because that's kind of how I roll.
Apparently that's how Pisces are, Mama. You fit right into the description of what Pisces think they are.
You leave my puppy alone, you hear me?
I wish there was some sort of education in school during life skills on how it is just a working service dog, because it can risk the owner's life if the dog misses a cue. People really need to be like controlling their kid. Like their kid needs to learn manners. Like I was taught my manners. I was taught I need to be patient. I was taught I need to ask
You
an
need to
owner.
calm down,
Hey,
Savannah.
hey,